Previously on the Moment of Balance podcast.
We're holding a trade and industry summit on Kyoshi Island. Chong and Hanako, I would like the two of you to be there. There is one other person that I think will be joining you, though, Officer Fuzhou.
Right. You're that airbender.
I don't feel... And before you can say anything else, he collapses forward.
Fuzhou is going to run up and feel for a pulse.
You do not feel a pulse. I need that airbender to be placed under detention immediately. I received an anonymous call, a heretofore unknown airbending technique, which they described as a phantom bullet. As you're walking up to Adenia, she runs through her room and jumps out her window. My name is Major Adenia Adler of General Kuvira's army. All right, so last time we ended, you had just revealed that the supposed representative from Gongshan Arsenal is not, in fact, the representative from Gongshan Arsenal, but is a woman claiming to be a major in Kuvira's army, which is an interesting claim considering that Kuvira has been deposed and arrested a couple of years ago at this point, right?
It's been
like a year. Yeah.
About a year.
To provide some information that all of you would know in universe. So Kuvira was the dictator who took over the Earth Kingdom after the Earth Queen was deposed. She was not a great person, a very, shall we say, Stalin-esque in how she ran things. Not communist, more fascist. So not a great person, and then was eventually defeated, imprisoned, and tried, and then she helped out with some stuff that got her sentence kind of like commuted to basically like living in exile in Zaofu. So she is not like free, but she's also not
she's under house arrest.
Yeah, she is a very talented general, a very skilled metal bender, and a general all around fascist who controlled the Earth Kingdom for like a little while. She was kind of a thing for a little bit. Yeah, and this woman is claiming to have been a fairly high-ranking person in her army. So yeah. Anyway, so you've secured and like detained Adenia, and I'm gonna skip ahead like 10 minutes.
Hanako is, with the help of some of her companions, bringing Adenia back out into the courtyard now that we've gotten her restrained, right?
Hanako and we'll say Fuzhou are like, she is now, you now have her in like the metal cuffs. She's bound up in some way. She has not, as far as you've seen, demonstrated any evidence that she is a metal bender. So you feel fairly comfortable that she won't be able to just bust out of this. All right. So you walk out into the courtyard and you see the Ambassador Li Heng and the other person standing there looking extremely interested in what has just transpired.
Ambassador Heng, Earth Kingdom business, if you don't mind.
Who is this?
This woman claims to be Major Adenia Adler of Kuvira's army. She demands to be treated as a prisoner of war.
Li Heng looks directly at Adenia and kind of narrows her eyes. You realize that you're claiming to be an unlawful combatant of a deposed dictator, right? Adenia just kind of like nods without saying anything.
A gift in all good faith from Republic City and the Fire Nation.
Very well. Lieutenant Min. She gestures to the other woman that's standing next to her wearing officer's uniform. Please find some place to secure this woman. I'll be having a talk with her momentarily. Lieutenant Min walks forward and like grabs Adenia's arm. She's going to lead her off to the map I showed you earlier. So off of the kitchen, there's like a couple of storage thingies / freezers, walk-in freezer type places. One of the walk-in freezers is conveniently, for the purposes of our plot, not being used as a freezer, so it's not cold right now. They're going to put Adenia in there and lock the door for now. And Lieutenant Min is going to stand guard outside the freezer. So now you're back in the courtyard. The body is still there. Everyone's kind of milling around. The people that went to the docks are now starting to come back, and everyone's just kind of like figuring out what to do at this point. Of note, Baisa is kind of kneeling by the body, just looking completely like lost in thought. And I'll let you all decide what to do. We'll say you're all in the courtyard now, all three of you.
Where did Ambassador Hang go off to after taking Adenia?
She went off in the direction of the dormitories.
I was hanging by her throughout that entire process. Once Adenia is locked up, I wanna initiate a conversation.
Okay, so like pulling her aside before she gets to the dorms or whatever.
Yeah, or like as the door shuts, right? Make a comment.
Okay, so the door shuts and you're in the kitchen area with Lieutenant Nin, who's just kind of standing there, and Li Heng.
What do you think Kuvira's people would have interest in this meeting for?
I don't know, rightly. I assume that this is some kind of fringe terrorist attempt to disrupt an important political moment. As you may be aware, Kuvira has officially denounced all of her remaining supporters, so it's not like they're doing it under her orders or with her blessing.
We can only hope.
You're welcome to travel to Zaofu and ask her yourself. For now, I'm going to work under the assumption that I'm dealing with an unlawful combatant and an enemy of the Earth Kingdom.
Do not mistake me, Ambassador Hang. A wise course of action.
Thank you. Now, if you'll excuse me, this has been a trying day. I believe I need to start some correspondence back to my superiors.
Of course.
She walks off in the direction of the dorms. So now you're back in you're still in the kitchen area, but yeah, out in the courtyard, people are sort of milling around. People are starting to sort of file off into the dorms. Bice's out by the body, and we'll say like the fire lieutenant person is kind of hanging around to make sure nobody messes with the body.
I hate to do this again because you've just described the courtyard again, but I was going to turn to the lieutenant and start talking next because I want to know the people we have not talked to yet.
No, you are completely fine to do that if that's okay with your fellow players.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Lieutenant Min, was it?
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
What's your story? You're just here with the ambassador?
Yes, ma'am. I was assigned to provide protection to the ambassador. We met up en route.
What were you doing before that?
I don't understand the question, ma'am. You mean my duty assignment, or specifically what was I doing with my time?
Your assignment.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Assigned to bossing, say, in the Army Command Center. If I'm being honest, I mostly just file paperwork and run orders from one part of the building to the other. This is a little bit outside of my comfort zone.
Hanako nods. Bossing say,
That's right, ma'am.
How are things out there these days?
Complicated? Yeah, Kuvira is gone, but everything is still in flux. King Wu is trying his best, but he's not. This is new to him.
How are the people adjusting?
I don't know how to answer that. It's an adjustment for everyone. I think the people who are used to getting their way are unhappy with King Wu, and I think the people who are used to being on the bottom are wishing he could do more.
I see. Thank you for your time, Lieutenant.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll turn and head back out to the courtyard.
Okay, cool. Fuzhou, you wanted to...
Yeah, I want to take a look at this body. Looking at that gun from earlier, that gun doesn't look like the kind of thing that could have made that exact wound.
So you walk up, the body is now covered with a sheet. Oh, by the way, for reference, it is night now. It's getting into the actual night. It's dark. The courtyard is lit fairly dimly, but it does have lighting. Bisa is kind of kneeling nearby the body, looking a little bit dazed, and the body is there.
I hope you don't mind if I step in and take a closer look at what's going on here.
Go ahead. I'm trying to figure this out. I would welcome your opinion, Officer Inspector.
My opinion is he shouldn't be jumping to such baseless accusations off of a mere hunch.
Officer, I'm inclined to agree with you. I go ahead and observe the body as you wish. They get up and kind of wander off in a daze toward another part of the courtyard. They're not actually leaving or anything. All right, Fuzhou, what you gonna do with this body?
Yeah, I wanna investigate this body. I wanna take a closer look at that wound, a closer look at everything, not just the entrance exit wound, but also just the area around the wound. Anything else strange with the body?
So you wanna do a thorough investigation of the body.
Yes.
I want you to roll to examine the evidence. I want you
Alright.
to roll with either creativity or focus. Pick whichever one is higher.
10.
Pick one question and you get a specific answer and a +1 bonus to act.
What else here does this evidence point to?
Okay, so as you're examining the body, you've already examined the wound. You've already determined that it appears to have been from some kind of projectile. And as you're investigating the body, you use your metal bending. You kind of like feel around and you try to get a more specific read on that vague sort of sense that you got before. So as you're doing that, you're able to draw out these like small, fine particles of some kind of metal that you're not familiar with. But it's responding to your metal bending. It's very soft and it's like basically like almost a powder. So you're drawing out these like little powder like bits out of the cavity. So it looks like something hit this man's chest and then basically exploded from within. Not necessarily like an explosion, because there's no evidence of like charring or anything, but like something hit and just sort of went poof. It appears that this was some kind of projectile that was designed to expand when it hit its target and leave very little trace behind. If you were not a metal bender and not a qualified like medical professional, you would not have noticed this. And you also have +1 to act on this if you want to try to like do anything else in the future. I would maybe hold on to that until you have more information. But yeah, so other than that, you inspect the body, you see this wound, there's an entry wound, there isn't really an exit wound. This whatever projectile did a lot of damage to this guy. It clearly like penetrated the chest, it did whatever thing it did to sort of explode, and it did enough damage to this guy's heart that's what killed him. There is no other indication of injury. There's no indication of any kind of like scorching or searing. And like I said, there's no exit wound. So whatever the projectile was, it just inside of this guy.
So when he was hit, he was facing... Where was he facing?
I want you to roll to visualize. Roll with creativity +1 in addition to that. So +3 in total.
10 plus 3, 13.
Okay,
bitches.
cool. On 10 plus, you're given an accurate idea of what happened. Okay, so as you remember it, the compound here is in some parts 2 stories and in some part 1 story. So this big courtyard is open. And on one side, you have the dormitories, and there's a second floor that kind of like goes in like an L shape. On the other side, where the courtyard is and the kitchens and some office space and some other crap over there, it's only 1 story. And from how this guy was facing, he had his chest turned toward those buildings, and you can faintly see in the distance, in the dark, the outlines of like the hills and the mountains that are to the north of this compound, off in the distance. So there is an elevated area with a line of sight to the victim. From everything that you can see here, it appears that somebody fired some kind of projectile from somewhere out there and struck this guy in the chest. So somebody had a clear line of sight of this courtyard and the people in it.
So it was somewhere in the mountains.
So there's like low hills that are closer to this place, and then there's like big mountains way off in the distance. You think it would be unlikely that someone could fire from the mountains and hit something, but the hills are high enough to get a line of sight and are close enough that a skilled marksman could hit the target.
Deciding whether I want to go investigate those hills now, or if I want to do a little bit of interrogation.
Keep in mind it is pitch dark out.
Okay, I might want to wait till the morning to deal with those hills, and alright, I'll probably do some speaking to Adenia first.
Okay, cool. Chong and Hanako, would you like to do anything in particular right now?
I think I want to reconvene with Chong and try to make a plan, unless Chong's in the middle of going to do something, in which case Hanako will just go kind of merge into that conversation.
Okay, would you like to also be a part of the conversation?
Sure, I will join in, reconvene with the others.
Okay.
Yes, I think while this has been happening, Chong's been just standing in the back, just kind of observing. Because I think after everything that's happened, I think Chong's still kind of processing it. I think he's kind of trying to figure out. He was in method processing, so I think when he sees you guys walk up to him. He eagerly, skitters over to you guys, like, yes, there's a place where I'm wanted.
And Hanako just we all just kind of meet up, and Hanako immediately goes into this. All right, so let's say for the sake of argument, right? Let's say that Adenia was the one who blew up the docks. Sure, I'll grant that. It's probable at this point. What reason would someone of Kuvira's army have to kill Alfred?
I've been scratching my head on that this whole time, and honestly, I can't think of any reason. It's a defunct army, and Alfred is super new to this. Like, the old guy.
Alfred has nothing to do with Earth Kingdom politics.
Exactly. Like, maybe the old guy, but this guy, he didn't even have anything to do with what was going on. He was just kind of here as a figurehead.
Whoever the killer was, I have a feeling I know where they killed from.
Oh?
There is a series of hills that are within the line of sight of the courtyard that I believe must have been the location where the trigger was pulled. On whatever bizarre new projectile this is. I do want to inspect Adenia's gun a little bit to make sure that there's nothing different about her bullets, but unless she was over there when the killing happened, I don't know if it was her.
What's strange about the projectiles?
I don't know if you got a good look at his body, but there's no exit wound. Are either of you familiar with guns at all?
Only as much as I've gleaned from traveling with Sabi, which is not much.
Well, generally, when someone is shot, there's both an entry wound and an exit wound. But whatever projectile this was, essentially dissolved on impact, like exploded inside of him into a powder, so no trace would be left behind.
Was it like a poisoning?
No, it wasn't poisoning. This wasn't a poison metal. It wasn't something that would kill that fast. It was the impact that killed him.
Is that what I thought I had something to do with this? Because the lack of, exit and entry wounds and whatnot, it looked airbendery.
I was, and I'm putting this in massive scare quotes, sworn to secrecy about this, but Baisa did tell me that there is a supposed rogue airbender with a unusual skill to basically shoot people with their airbending from large distances, and that's why I asked you if this specific move meant anything to you, and you stared at me with your big confused eyes, and you're innocent. I know you're innocent.
Oh yeah, that phantom thing. Oh yeah, you mentioned that a little while ago. Sorry, there's so much been going on. Okay, well, I'm glad we connected the two together, because with the phantom thing and me and that, he gestures to the body.
I mean, it couldn't have been a phantom thing here. It could not have been an air projectile because there was remnants of the projectile in his chest. It's something else. Take everything that idiot says with a grain of salt. I point over at Baisa.
Has Baisa been made aware of the residue?
I don't care. I honestly don't care what they do.
I will be frank, I do. If there's evidence that exonerates Chong, Baisa must be made aware so that, at the bare minimum, if Baisa does not work to help us figure this out, they won't get in our way.
I agree with Hanako on that. At the very least, we don't have to worry about. I'll be honest, I don't even know if what they're saying is true, that they're like an Earth Kingdom guy and whatnot, but I agree, it's probably best to maybe not give them all the info, but at least enough to keep them off our backs.
I also, for what it's worth, if Baisa was sent here by the Earth King, then they should also probably be made aware of Adenia and that entire situation.
But yeah, that's like an actual threat.
I guess. I don't trust them. I don't trust that they're going to make sound decisions when it comes to investigating this. I don't trust that they're not going to get in our way when it comes to Adenia. But if you all want to do this, if you all want to talk to Baisa, fine by me. I want to go interrogate Adenia myself.
Well, then why don't you get to that while we have Baisa nice and distracted for you?
Smart.
All right, since Fuzhou did his investigation of the body first, I think we're going to go to Chong and Hanako. You're both going to go talk to Baisa?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bisa, like as you've been talking, like people have mostly filed out of the courtyard. The Fire Nation captain is still like hanging out. Everyone else is kind of like gone back to the dorms. The last person to kind of like trail off was James Carlisle, the Republic Arms rep. So everyone's pretty much cleared out except for Bisa, who's kind of off, like staring out into space, and the Fire Nation dude who's just like guarding the body basically to make sure no one interferes. So you're walking up to Bisa. They just kind of like look at you, Chong, and just like kind of look through you. Like they don't have a very strong reaction to the two of you coming up. Like they almost look like they're in shock a little bit.
Hey man, how's it going?
So as you say this, Bisa kind of blinks at you and looks at you, and their eyes focus. I'm sorry, Airbender. I didn't see you there before. How can I help you to?
Well, we were just talking to Officer Fuzhou, and he had a little observation of the body, and he told us some really interesting info. We just wanted to get on the same page with you since we're all on the same team and share what we found out.
As you say this, Bice's eyes focus a little more, and they sort of perk up. I'm intrigued by this. Tell me about this evidence that your metal-bending compatriot was able to determine.
Chong puffs out his chest. He proved I didn't do it. And then Chong doesn't touch it, but like points to like the hole. It's like, honestly, Michelle found like this weird powdery stuff by the wound areas and things. And he's a metal bender, so he was able to do kind of like a cool scan thing of the body. And he figured out that there was like a projectile that was in there. And what he theorizes is that someone like from that direction, Chong gestures in the general direction that Fuzhou said that the bullet came from, like hills and all, just kind of like a big arm sweep. That someone like was a really good shot, like bullseye shot, and shot him with a projectile that after it like hit him and like impacted him in his like chest goop stuff broke up. So he's thinking it's like a projectile like got into him and then dissolved into like that white powder stuff. But obviously it wasn't a very good projectile because not all of it dissolved and we could find it. But basically, we're saying this dude got shot.
Hanako nudges in at about this point and says the residue left behind was made of metal, hence why he was able to detect it. You can clarify this information with him later if you'd like. He had some business to attend to and asked us to relay the information to you.
I see. So you're saying that the killer was out in there. They point vaguely out towards the clear area, and they fired a round of some kind that hit the victim there. They point over towards the body. And I'm sorry, can I? Baisu kind of like leans in and takes their arms and like puts them around like one on each of your shoulders and kind of like huddles in. I must confide something in you. I've never actually investigated a murder before. Can
I roll to see if how much of a straight face Chong is able to keep?
Roll with focus.
Hanako's entire life is keeping a straight face. She can do it. I swear to God. I could not. She can.
I rolled a 9.
Okay, you successfully managed to keep a straight face. I was not deceiving you that I'm a detective, but I'm a detective who, well, see, it's almost more of a parlor trick. I'm very good at observing people and coming to conclusions and knowing things about people. And Kingwu finds this immensely entertaining, and it is useful in the investigation of fraud and corruption and whatnot. My services have been used by Republic City and the Earth Kingdom, but I'm not a murder investigator. I'm not used to dealing with bodies and killing and shooting and whatnot.
Hanako holds up her hand. Bisa.
Yes.
I would like to apologize for my outburst earlier.
You had every right to do that. I accused your friend of murder.
I'm certain you can understand the situation. I believe that you have skills. I believe that your skills may be useful in this situation. And I appreciate you confiding where your true skills lie. With all of this in mind, I think that your best place right now, if I may say so, is to take a step away from this body, collect yourself for a moment, and talk to the people here. You are a people person. You've just told me this is what you do. Tomorrow, Officer Fuzhou is going to be heading out into the hills to investigate the area we just described. I think that you should get some rest, calm yourself, get collected, and then tomorrow, while Officer Fuzhou goes out, why don't me and you take a walk around, do as we do, and see what we can find out from these people?
I think that is an excellent use of our combined resources. Before I go to retire for the evening, Ms. Hanako, may I make an observation? As I said, I am an astute observer of people and the way they carry themselves and how they behave and whatnot.
Hanako cocks her head as if, sizing Baisa up and says, "All right then, go on."
You carry yourself as one who was trained as a firebender, but there is something of how you carry yourself is so strange to me, like you've incorporated some other style of bending into the way that you move, and I was just wondering what that is exactly.
Yes, well, I trained with some earthbenders after coming to Republic City. They come from a coastal village and themselves had worked some elements of waterbending into their own style.
That is extremely interesting. I must admit, it's something of a curiosity to me, the way that the different styles can play onto each other and whatnot. I mean, just here in this very assemblage, I noticed that the ambassador from the Earth Kingdom also carries herself as one who has been exposed to waterbending, although I can't imagine she has any talent for it, given her station. But all the same, a very interesting piece of information. I'll keep that in mind. Your skills could be very useful, I think.
Really? I'll have to have a word with Ambassador Hang.
And Baisu kind of wanders off, still looking kind of dazed toward the dorms.
I think I know what I want Hanako to do next, but that doesn't need to be an immediate thing.
I think we're going to shift over to Fuzhou, and then we'll go back. All right, so you're going to go into the place where Adenia is being detained and asked to speak to her, I assume?
Yes.
Lieutenant Min has no problem letting you in. They kind of open the door carefully and see that Adenia, who's been kind of detained, she's got the cuffs on or whatever, and she's sitting in the corner of the deactivated freezer. So yeah, Lieutenant Min lets you know that you have, just to knock on the door when you're done, and closes the door behind you. So now you're in the freezer with Adenia.
Adenia Adler of Kuvira's army. I have some questions for you.
Adenia looks up at you with this kind of smirk on her face. My name is Major Adenia Adler of General Kuvira's army, and I demand to be treated as a prisoner of war under the Earth Kingdom law.
As long as you're open to answering my questions, you'll have your wish.
You can ask me whatever you want, Inspector. Feel free to try to interrogate them. I would recommend, if you want to use the interrogate, they are not a cooperative witness. They are not going to give you information. She is not inclined to answer your questions.
Listen, Adenia, I think you know you're in a pretty rough situation here. I think you know that this isn't going to end well for you. Your so-called leader has been in custody for a year. She has denounced any and all connection with the Earth Empire. Every single one of her generals, every single one of her commanders has been disbanded. I don't see what you have to gain here. You want to make this easier for yourself, don't you? You can make this easier for yourself, or you can make this a whole lot harder for yourself.
Are you threatening me, Inspector?
Well, from what I've seen, you're not a metal bender. Fuzhou grabs one of the racks off the freezer and twists it a little bit. Slaps the twisted rack that he's turned into a baton against his hand. And I am.
Roll with creativity. Roll for bad. I'm assuming you're doing the bad
I'm doing
cop.
bad cop. I'm doing bad cop, so +2.
+2.
Fuck, yeah, that's a 12 + 2 is 14.
Oh my
God,
god.
I'm rolling so good today.
All right, you may ask one of these questions.
I want to know, is someone threatening you? Is there someone else behind this? You're in a pretty rough situation. I don't understand why you would put yourself in this situation. Is someone making you put yourself in this situation?
Adenia closes her eyes and starts laughing at you. Is someone threatening me? Inspector, why did you become a police officer in the first place?
For the same reason about half the force does, because it's the best paying job for a natural metal bender.
You don't believe in anything. You don't stand for anything. The only way that you can imagine someone doing anything of note is if they're being coerced or threatened into it. So no one's threatening me. I'm doing this because I believe in something. Because regardless of what's happened to Kuvira, she is still alive, and the people that are loyal to her are still alive. And none of you can stop what's happening now. She settles back and looks smug.
Can I do a good cop now?
I didn't specify if you can reuse that. You know what? Sure. What the fuck? Role play it out. I'm gonna ask you to take a -1 to this, though.
Oh, okay. Fuzhou tosses aside this makeshift baton and says, "You're right that I don't believe in the Republic City Police Department. Because I've seen firsthand that half of them are bastards. I've watched many of my compatriots get bought by other people in the city. So no, I don't believe in the police department, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in anything. Listen, I understand the need to lean into what you believe in. I believe in my loved ones. Got a pretty nice relationship going on right now, and I believe in him. I believe that the people of Republic City in general are good people. And unlike what my police training might have taught me, I don't need to cut them down for the sake of those who tell me to cut them down. Do you really believe that you need to cut down anyone in your opposition? The people around you, the people who you're working with, do they really want this?
Roll +1, because you're at +2 -1.
Okay, that's a 7.
You get to ask one from this list. They will answer, but hold something important back.
I want to do what are you hoping to gain here? So sure, you and your fellow Earth Empire people want to see the Earth Empire brought to glory, but I'm sure you understand that that's not in the books right now. So what are you hoping for?
She sort of leans into you and smiles again. Chaos, Inspector. We're hoping to gain chaos.
Chaos amongst the arms dealings, I'm assuming.
She just shrugs her shoulders, doesn't respond to you.
Does the guard outside have her gun?
Yeah, sure.
Gonna knock on the door
Okay.
to be let out.
Lieutenant Min opens the door and she closes it again after.
Do you have her gun?
Lieutenant Min nods. Yeah, I have it right here.
I'm gonna take the bullets out and check and see, are they different? Because if they are, perhaps another Earth Empire person was behind the shooting.
You pull out the gun, you take out the magazine, and you look at some of the bullets, and as far as you can tell, they are very, very normal. Like, they look very similar to the bullets that your own gun uses. They're a little bit smaller, they're a different caliber, but
they're still lead.
They're
metal.
lead, they're brass cases. There's nothing weird going on with the projectiles or the gun as far as you can tell. It's it's fancy in that it's a semi-automatic, but it's not special in any particular way. The metal is normal, bullets are lead, cases are brass. Nothing weird going on with it.
Okay. I'm definitely going to want to investigate that hill tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I'll call it quits for today.
As Fuzhou exits the freezer, Hanako is in the kitchen, putting a pot of tea on to boil.
Where's Chong in all of this?
Chong absolutely followed Hanako, and he's absolutely rifling through the cookie cupboard.
So we're all in the kitchen right now?
Yeah.
Welp, didn't get much out of her.
Unfortunate. What did she say?
She says she wants to sow chaos.
I know the type well.
Chong pushes the package of cookies over, and he pushes another package of cookies. In his hand, he's holding a package of cookies. Hey, they got some good stuff here, guys. Look at this. They got, like, Earth Queen biscuit, Republic City biscuit, cinnamon, jasmine biscuit.
Hanako picks up a package and looks over it, sort of passively, and says, "She's like the worst combination of Sabi and myself."
Almost as if the two of you had a child, and that child was raised by your mother.
I shudder at the thought.
Did you look at her guns? What did you think? Did you get, like, a, "ooh, I'm a murderer" vibe?
Perfectly normal. Unless one of her compatriots has a similar bullet to the one that caused whatever damage, killed our victim, I don't know if it was Earth Empire. They might have caused the explosion. That certainly sounds like chaos, but it doesn't seem like the same weapon.
Chong swallows another bite of biscuit. And says, like, not to mention, if they wanted to really cause chaos, why shoot Alfred? Why not shoot one of the big officials or one of the officials' assistants? That Republic City's big, but certainly not like Earth Nation big. If I were them or Fire Nation, I would have shot one of them. That certainly would have caused war more quickly.
I do wonder if whoever had it out for Alfred has it out for the United Republic specifically.
It's possible. Hanako begins pouring some cups of tea, more than would strictly be necessary for this party alone, and says, "Lucky for us, we do have somebody within Access who is at the forefront of firearms innovation these days. I think I'll go have a word with Mr. Carlyle before bed."
Good luck. He's a little too Varricky for my taste.
I couldn't agree more. She passes a cup to Lieutenant Min. "Thank you for guarding the prisoner."
Yeah, of course, ma'am. It's what I pay to do. She takes the cup of tea and starts sipping from it.
"Chong, if you could make sure this gets to Baisa, I think they'll be needing it."
Chong gives you a little salute. He puts 2 packages of cookies under each arm. He takes the cup of tea and his cup of tea in one hand and bites in another, and has a cookie in his mouth. Gives a little nod to you, Fuzhou, like cookie in mouth, and walks away off the Bice's room.
As for you, officer, would you like to accompany me?
You know, I think I'm gonna hit the hay. I'm gonna check out that vantage point early tomorrow, and I just don't want to deal with that man again.
Understandable. I'll leave a cup on the counter if you'd like it. And Hanako takes her own cup and a spare for Carlyle and starts walking.
Fuzhou grabs the tea and walks off to his room.
All right, so you're gonna go. You walk into the dormitory area and find the room that has James's name on it. So as you're walking up, you think you can hear voices from behind James's door. You might be able to make out what they're saying if you were to focus and concentrate a little bit.
I'll absolutely put my ear to the door.
Cool. Roll with focus.
That's a 9.
You can make out 2 voices. You recognize James's voice because he's pretty loud. He's a pretty loud guy, and you recognize the other voice sounds like Ambassador Li Heng. But you can't quite make out what she's saying, so you're basically getting like one side of this conversation. I don't know anything else, ma'am. Look, I didn't inspect the body, and I don't want anything else to do with this. Just do what you're supposed to do as an ambassador and fix this problem. I understand that that's not your job, but you're the only Earth Kingdom representative here, and this is an Earth Kingdom problem. Fine. I want an assurance that we're going to be safe.
I think at this point, Hanako will knock.
I'm sorry, someone's at the door. Ma'am, I think you should retire for the evening. As you knock, you hear footsteps coming toward the door, and you see it open, and Ambassador Lee Heng is standing there looking at you.
I'll give the ambassador a nod and say, Ambassador Hang, I hope you have a pleasant night.
Ms. Hanako, thank you. You do as well. She walks off towards her room. James is in there waving you in. Second person who wants to talk to me tonight. Come on in. Come on in.
Mr. Carlyle, I hope you'll forgive the intrusion. I promise I won't be long.
No, it's not like I'm gonna get any sleep tonight anyway with everything that's happening.
Would you like some tea?
Yes, thank you. I normally prefer a good bit of whiskey, but I'll take it right now. Thank you so much.
Of course.
He takes it and starts sipping from the cup. Now, what can I help you with, Ms. Hanako?
I should like to make this very clear before we begin, Mr. Carlyle. I don't bear you any ill will, and I don't suspect you of anything. But the officer who was sent along with me, Officer Fuzhou, made an observation of the body that I thought you might be able to provide some special insight on.
Okay, well, shoot. Can't promise anything, but I'll do my best.
My companion, Alfred, when he was shot, the bullet that entered his body, it was like nothing that the good officer had seen before. It broke up upon entry, leaving nothing to exit the body on the other side.
Now, you're sure it's a bullet, because that person there, was pretty sure that it was some kind of airbender technique.
Oh, I'm certain. Officer Fuzhou detected metal residue within the body.
Well, I mean, I'm mostly a businessman. I don't know that much about the technical aspects of firearms. I mean, I've shot once or twice, and I know a little bit, but that's for the people that we pay to do technical development. However, I mean, you say there's no bullet inside, there was no exit wound, there was no slug still inside the body?
No slug, merely a bunch of metal particulates.
I mean, that is highly unusual. See, a bullet is made out of a soft metal that expands when it hits the body, and usually either it goes through the body or it stays in the body, and it wouldn't be hard to find. What you're describing is like, I've never heard of that before. That's not something that, without revealing too many trade secrets from the newly formed Republic Arms, that's not something that I'm aware of that we're developing.
Of course. So Republic Arms has acquired nothing of the sort from Varick Industries.
I mean, we're still going through the holdings, but what you're describing is highly unusual. I mean, Varick had a interesting taste when it came to the design of his firearms, but when it came to the bullets, he pretty much stuck to the tried and true.
Of course. I suppose that the standard slug is a bit more showy, and that always was his taste.
I don't know. I only met the man a few times, and I never cared for him, so...
I met the man quite a few more times, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I had heard about that. Well, I'm sorry I can't be of more help, but that does sound highly unusual. I don't know, maybe some kind of custom bullet or something. I'm someone that would have the skill to make such a thing, but I can't say for sure.
Unfortunate that an actual woman from Gongshen isn't here to check in with. Thank you very much for your help.
Oh, you're most welcome. You have a nice night, Miss Hanako.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yes?
What was Ambassador Hang here for?
She stopped by to talk about something. I don't really know, because I'll admit I started getting a little heated because I'm concerned about this whole people getting shot thing, and I wanted some assurance that as the representative for the kingdom that we are in right now, that she would be able to protect us from whatever this is, and she does not seem, I don't know. I think she might be a little bit out of her depth here, but...
I think we all are these days, Mr. Carlyle.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have let her speak, but I don't know what she wanted originally.
Of course. Thank you for your help.
Oh, you're welcome. You have as good an evening as you can. If you need anything else, as I said, I can't imagine I'll be sleeping much tonight.
I'll keep it in mind. And Hanako will step out of the room.
You gonna go to bed for the night?
Yeah.
You're all gonna go to sleep. I want you all to roll with focus.
Oh boy.
7 plus 1's an 8.
7.
It's only a 9.
As you're sleeping, you hear some noise someone banging around a little bit, and then a loud thump, and then that's it. You don't notice anything else happening at night, and the rest of the night is quiet. You're awake now. What are y'all going to do?
Chong is raiding the kitchen for breakfast. Is anyone in there with Chong?
Let's say that the Fire Nation person and Lieutenant Min swapped out, so the Fire Nation officer is there with Colonel Noriko. Yui is also in the kitchen, like, getting breakfast. That's the Future Industries rep.
Well, I think Chong is, he found some bread and he's toasting it on the stove or whatnot, and I think he's calling out to, like, the guards and just people in general, like, anyone want some of this? I got, like, a great technique where I, like, shrivel butter fry.
The only person who responds to that is Yui, who comes up and says, "Oh, that sounds delicious. I would love to try that."
I'm very excited, looks up being like, oh my god, I will get you too. It is wow.
Hey, so you're helping to investigate the murder that happened yesterday, right?
I am. I'm, talking with the officer, helping that Earth Kingdom detective guy. Just do my part.
Did that woman in there? She motions towards the freezer. Did she do it?
Probably not, honestly. I mean, she's angry, but she's more terrorist than murderer, if that makes sense. Her guns and whatnot couldn't have done it.
Yui looks terrified as you say this. Oh my god, you mean the person that did this is still out there? They could kill again?
Oh, hey, the bread's ready.
She looks very shaken by this.
I think it is about this time, just fashionably late enough that she was busy combing her hair, that Hanako walks into the kitchen.
You see Chong in the latter part of interacting with Yui, who now looks utterly terrified. She is a very expressive person and not good at hiding her emotions.
Miss Tama, what seems to be the matter?
Your friend told me that you haven't caught the killer yet?
Oh, he did he?
Looks at you and goes, yeah, I really don't think it was her. It's gotta be someone else. Maybe not here, but...
Miss Tama, if you don't, would you like to... Can I pull you aside for just a moment?
She nods and lets you just kind of guide her off to the side.
Now, listen. I would like you to understand we are working very hard at this. I do believe that getting Adenia taken care of has made this area significantly more safe. It is possible, still, that Adenia was the murderer. We do not have current evidence that the hardware that she was carrying was able to do the job, as it were. But that doesn't mean that she didn't have that hardware somewhere else. Additionally, we are working very hard with Baisa to gather as much evidence as we can and bring the culprit to justice.
Yui looks slightly reassured by hearing this.
So long as I am here, and you saw me and Colonel Takamori, we were very swift the other night at the first sign of danger. You have nothing to worry about. I assure you, everyone in this compound is safe.
You did capture that woman. I believe you. You're...
Right when Hanako says, I assure everyone in this compound is safe, Fuzhou comes in with the empty cup from last night, looks around, sees Hanako. I want to imagine that your hands are on Yui's shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I also wanted to picture that Chong's just blissfully eating his bread.
So Fuzhou is going to come in, see this scene, and immediately turn to Chong and say, this is your fault, isn't it?
Chong shrugs and goes, it usually is. I'll be honest. You want some bread?
Fuzhou shrugs and grabs the bread.
Triple buttered it. It's like extra good.
Can I have bread now?
Totally, man. Here, I made you two. And Chong has like a plate of like steaming fresh triple like buttered toast.
Yui finds a seat at one of the counters and is sort of like eating the bread very tentatively and sort of like wide-eyed.
Miss Tama, I will tell you what. Why don't, and I turn to the two Fire Nation representatives, if you're concerned about your safety, why don't you hang out in this kitchen this morning? I am sure that the good people of the Fire Nation here would be more than happy to keep an eye on you.
Colonel Takamori sort of raises an eyebrow and shrugs her shoulders. It would be our duty to protect you. The captain just kind of shrugs.
See, there may be no place safer than these four walls as it currently stands.
Okay, so what are y'all planning to do now?
Well, I want to check those hills.
You want to check the hills. Okay, so you're going to head out.
I'll offer to go with you.
All right, cool.
So you're going to go to the hills. Hanako, are you going with them?
No, Hanako is going to stay back and keep Baiso busy.
Okay, cool. All right, so as you two are leaving the main gate, you notice like a few people are kind of milling around still. You notice that Li Heng is leaving the compound and headed in the direction of the like harbor town. A couple of the other random people that we established exist here have kind of like been going around. The Fire Nation people obviously accounted for Yui, and James is presumably still in his room since you haven't seen him yet this morning. And Baisa is, I don't know, fucking getting breakfast or some shit. They're around. Let us follow Chong and Fuzhou as you head out into the hills.
All right.
So are you going to just kind of like aimlessly comb the area? Or are you going to try to like, because you've got a pretty good idea of the general direction the shot came from.
I want to look for any remnants of bullet casings.
Okay.
I want to see if there's anything left behind by this killer.
Okay, cool. All right, so you're gonna wander out into the hills. The hills kind of roll up from the compound, and they get higher and higher. It gets like a lot of scrubby grass and low trees. These are like the foothills that lead into mountains. So there's not a ton of like stuff happening out here. There's no like people out here. There's maybe, I don't know, some wild animals wandering about. And a lot of sort of scrub grass. So you're looking for any signs of where the person may be. So you have a pretty good idea. You got a pretty good idea of generally where they would be. So you just kind of go in a straight line and you comb and you walk around for a little bit. And after maybe like an hour of this, you come to a point where you notice that the grass looks like it's been disturbed more than it should be. As if someone were lying there.
What's in that area?
So you notice that there is a large sort of flat area in the grass, again, as if someone had been lying there. It looks like someone has kind of like had a shallow depression that they kind of like carved out. And then on one side of the depression, you notice that there's a bunch of like sand just kind of like scattered around. And you notice signs of like someone has been there probably for a little bit. You notice discarded remains of some kind of food. You see like the scraps of some fruit. Nothing that's like, you don't notice any kind of like bullet casings at first investigation.
But is there anything around that might perhaps point toward the nationality of this person?
I want you to roll to investigate the scene. So that's with focus.
That's a 7.
Okay, so you get to pick one of these questions. What happened here? What is hidden here? What caused this? What evidence should I be on the lookout for? Who was involved? How did this start? And how did this end?
What is hidden here?
As you're investigating this scene here, so you very thorough. You investigate the depression that's been left here and the way the grass is. You look at all the fruit and stuff, and you notice two very important things that you didn't notice at first. One is that the way that the depression was formed doesn't look like somebody just did it with their body, and it doesn't look like somebody did it with a tool of any kind. It looks like an earthbender kind of like shoved stuff around to make this little like hide, basically. Okay. And it looks like the grass was sort of like, at one point it was probably covering this person. The other thing you notice is as you're looking through like the scraps, you notice a piece of fruit that looks unfamiliar to you. It looks like something that is probably regional to somewhere, but you're not. Wait, where's Fuzhou from?
Republic City.
Okay, yeah, you don't recognize where this comes from. You've seen it around, but like you feel like you've seen it at the markets in Republic City, but you can't quite put your finger on exactly what its deal is, like where it's from.
I'm gonna pocket that. As gross as it is to pick up a piece of chewed on fruit, I'm gonna pocket that.
Okay.
Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna go over to Chong. You've traveled a bunch, right?
Oh, yeah, don't call you a nomad for nothing.
Have you ever seen a fruit like this before?
Can I roll with my for my own skills?
Chong, I want you to roll with your skills and training.
8+1, 9.
You recognize this fruit. This is not a fruit that Fuzhou would recognize because he's a United Republic boy, and this is fruit that is native to the Earth Kingdom, and it's especially popular in Ba Sing Se, and it is also a very popular, it's a fruit that's very popular with people that travel. Like, it's something that it holds up well as you're traveling. It's a very nutritious. You can buy it in the United Republic, like it's hardy enough that you can ship it over, but it is definitely native to Ba Sing Se specifically.
What's it called?
I don't fucking know.
I think Chong, you can make up this name.
Yeah, Chong, make up. You know what this is called. It's called.
Yes. Chong looks at this and he goes like, "Oh, this is a pear. It's like, I saw this a lot when we would perform in Ba Sing Se, my family and I. This is a really native fruit there. It's really popular with travelers, and it's like a really hearty fruit, lots of nutrition, high in calories. It's just put a piece of papa pear in your bag and you're good to go for a little while."
You say Ba Sing Se?
Oh yeah, you can only get this fruit there. This is really temperamental. There's something about the soil there that makes it good. I tried growing once, when we were going around some coastal areas. It died so fast. I felt so bad. I had 3 brothers crying for a day because of it.
I have someone to talk to.
Jen, a quick question actually about the papa pear. Is it commonly sold in markets and things, or is it only sold in Ba Sing Se?
It's commonly sold in markets, but this one's pretty fresh. You suspect it hasn't traveled very far.
My thinking is anyone could argue that, someone just bought this at a Republic market, or maybe even on the island.
I'm assuming this is also something that generally it's in Republic City markets for Ba Sing Se immigrants?
Yeah, the people that eat this are primarily people from Ba Sing Se or its surrounding area.
Chong would relate that to Fuzhou, that he's only ever seen Ba Sing Se people really eat this. He himself, I don't think, really cares for it because it's very acquired taste.
You get the sense that you've kind of figured out everything there is to figure out. You know that this is where the shot was taken from. There's not really a lot of other... So, before you leave, there is still a couple of things that don't quite add up. Mainly the sand. You can't really figure out what the deal with the sand is. So, if you want to try to connect the dots between that evidence and everything else that's happened here, take a fatigue and roll with harmony if you want to try to do that.
And I have 0 harmony, right?
You have 0 harmony, so kind of a long shot, but if you want to do it, go for it.
I'm gonna do it. Chong, can you help out on this one? I got a 6.
Chong, you can take, I believe it's take a fatigue to add +1, correct?
Yes, Chong only has 2 fatigue, so I will take a fatigue and help.
Chong and Fuzhou, you stand here looking at the sand and nodding very thoughtfully and kind of I see what that I see. So on a 7, you get a 7 and 9, you get a general sense of how the evidence is connected. So I can't quite figure it out, but you know that this sand had a bigger role in the shooting. You, in your experience, think you remember something about using a sandbag to stabilize your aim. And this looks like the kind of sand you might put in a sandbag, although you do not see any bag around. So yeah, this appears to have been let out of a sandbag at some point. You're well versed in firearms enough to know that was probably used to help brace the weapon that was used to fire this.
And the types of weapons that fire that need to be braced are generally more long-range
Yes,
rifles.
as someone with some level of familiarity with firearms, you are correct. You need this. This indicates that it is probably a rifle of some kind that was used to take the shot. Also supported by the fact that this is a pretty long-range shot. Like you're not like miles away, but you're far away. You're like a good maybe I'd say like a quarter of a mile. You're a few thousand feet away from the compound. Cool. What y'all gonna do? You gonna head back to the compound?
Yes, I want to speak to the people from the Earth Kingdom.
Good choice. We're gonna switch back to Hanako now. I'd say like concurrent to what y'all are doing. So going back in time a couple hours.
Yeah.
So what are you planning to do, Hanako?
I plan to do exactly what I said yesterday, which is I want to meet up with Baisa. I want to talk with them a little bit and kind of get a sense for like how their little trick works, and then just kind of go around and see what we can figure out about, the general company here.
Interesting. All right, cool. All right, so Baisa warping back in time to when Chong and Fuzhou are leaving. Y'all are now in the compound. Baisa is like finishing their breakfast up, and go for it.
Baisa, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Hanako. I hope you slept better than I did.
You know how it is these nights.
Oh yeah, I swear somebody was raising a bit of a ruckus last night, and I had a hard time dropping off, but persistence prevails, and I did finally get some sleep.
I'm glad to hear it. I hope that you're a little more collected this morning.
Well, I think I'd describe myself as sobered this morning after everything. I want to apologize for how I comported myself.
Consider it water under the bridge.
Thank you, that's very kind of you. Now,
I consider myself somebody who assesses people quite well, and while I think that perhaps your strengths weren't well utilized yesterday, I think that today we might be able to find a good use for them.
I'm very open to hearing your ideas.
So, tell me more about this parlor trick of yours.
Well, so over the years, I've developed something of a knack for observing individuals, and the truth of the matter is that people give away more of themselves than they'd like to think, just in their mannerisms and what they choose to focus on when they talk, or what objects they tend to favor when they're manipulating their environment, that kind of thing. I just observe what I'm seeing, and I put the pieces together, and then I make an educated guess about who they might be or what they might do, and more often than not, it has at least some truth to it.
If I may be quite blunt, my friend, it sounds to me like your skills may be better put to use doing interrogation than investigation.
I think you might be right about that.
Bearing that in mind, I think it might be clever if we made an itinerary of some folks that we thought might need some extra attention, if you will, and make our way around to see what you can figure out.
I'm very interested in hearing who you think might need some extra attention.
I have my eyes currently focused on Mr. James Carlyle. I'm not certain if he is guilty per se. He seems a man who wears his heart on his sleeve, but I think he knows more than he lets on about his new holdings. I also might like to spend some time speaking with Miss Tama, and Hanako lowers her voice considering that I think Yui is still in the kitchen alongside us. I'm certain that she seems to be the most impacted by all of this, and while it's entirely possible that is as it appears, there's a possibility that she's just a good actor, and she did organize all of this.
I don't know if you have any way of doing this, but it might be in your interest to establish the identities of these individuals too, as that Ms. Adler woman was not who she said she was. I will admit she is a talented liar. I got the sense that she was holding something back, but as to the specifics, she's a very hard woman to read.
A compelling point. Funnily enough, one of my companions did learn about Adenia's situation entirely before her little break for it by simply snooping around a bit. Do you think that we should do a little bit of that before we start our little escapade, or?
I think that might be a wise idea, as a matter of fact.
All right, then. In that case, why don't we see who's out of their room at the moment?
So you know that Yui is not in her room because she's in the kitchen. The Fire Nation attaché and the Fire Nation colonel, they're also in the kitchen. You suspect that Lieutenant Min is sleeping in her room. You still haven't seen James Carlisle come out, so you assume that he's finally managed to get to sleep or something. And you know that Li Hang is not in the compound because she was like walking out to go towards the town. You know for sure a list of people that are definitely not in their rooms and 2 people that are probably still in their room.
Let's go take a peek at Yui's room then. I mean, we know for a fact that she's going to be remaining in the kitchen for a while, so seems the safest option.
All right, so you go to Yui's room and the door is unlocked. You can walk in and take a look around. The room is as it laid out like all the others. There's a bed, there's a little desk, there's like a little closet, there's a bathroom. That's very standardized. Her room is mostly pretty neatly laid out. There's a couple of spots of chaos. Like she has clothes kind of tossed on the bed for the day, and she has like some notes kind of scattered on the desk, but not, other than that, it's fairly neat. So, yeah, what do you want to look at?
I think I'll start going for the notes on her desk. I mean, Hanako knows what it looks like when someone official has something to hide, so I think that she would be able to tell if Yui was up to something, shady.
I agree. Okay, as you're doing that, Baisa kind of like starts sort of going through, like, just sort of looking at like the clothes and the general setup of the room. As you're looking through the papers, you don't really notice anything at first glance. It looks unusual. There's a lot of kind of like proposed itineraries for the weekend, which are now very much not going to happen. There's a list of sort of meeting minutes. There's a schedule of events. It looks like she had this planned, like she was kind of taking the responsibility of like actually planning all of this stuff. And it looks like she had a pretty organized like structure of events. There was basically supposed to be like discussion about what had happened with Varric and sort of a attempt to get everyone to kind of come together and collaborate. Like from the schedule, it looks like she had this pretty well laid out. You don't see anything that looks particularly unusual. There's some correspondence between her and Asami that just kind of lays out expectations. It looks like she started to write a letter back to Asami and hasn't gotten more than a couple lines into it of like greetings, and the rest is she's just crossed it out and given up.
Yeah.
Nothing jumps out to you. Baisa is sort of looking through clothing and stuff. She's a very fashionable woman, a little disorganized, but honestly, I think everything here fits the bill of what she's supposed to be. Do you find anything in the papers of interest?
Hanako is thumbing through the itineraries and sighs a bit wistfully. This looks like it would have been quite a fun little trip, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wish things hadn't gone as they did. I imagine this is something of a tenuous situation, and I can't imagine that what's happening here is going to make it any better for anybody involved.
Well, let's hope we can get it fixed up before too much more damage is done, yes?
I agree. Well, who's next on our little investigatory itinerary?
Mr. Carlisle would be the person I'd next like to take a look at, but I do believe he's still sleeping or otherwise preoccupied in his room. I suppose the next most available group would be the Fire Nation ambassador and her captain.
All right, so they have 2 separate rooms. You quickly investigate the attaché's room. He has nothing of particular note. He doesn't have the same like papers and stuff that all the others do.
Anticipated.
Yeah, very neatly organized. He has a set of like orders that were typed up that appear to be legitimate. Everything is, he's there to protect the Fire Nation representative and assist as needed in anything that arises. So nothing unusual there. The Colonel's room is similarly extremely, extremely organized. Everything is exactly where it is supposed to be. She has a very neatly like organized desk. It has the same kind of like copies of the itinerary, orders from the Fire Nation about what she's supposed to be doing there. It's basically you're here to represent us and ensure that our interests are protected, and etc., etc.
Smooth things over after the Seki family happened, my god.
Exactly. And she has written out a letter in very neat handwriting that is basically saying, like, things are going badly, and it looks like a report to be delivered when she is able to. Like, it's still in progress. It's basically outlining, like, what happened. So it's explaining it. It ends with that they've managed to capture a woman who claims to be a major in General Kuvira's army and have detained her for further questioning and plan to turn her over to the Earth Kingdom. Beyond that, there's nothing else written. So she's just kind of keeping a running log. Other than that, everything looks like it's in order. There's no evidence that she's doing anything else or not who she says she is.
Once Hanako has found that, she is much quicker than in the other two rooms. Like, all right, Colonel Takamori is clean. Let's go.
Well, I appreciate that those two kept their things organized. It makes the whole job easier. Well, who's next on our little list?
Lieutenant Min is sleeping currently, and Lee... Where is Ambassador Lee Hang at the moment?
As far as you know, headed to the town, or possibly there already, depending on how long it's been.
Let's go ahead and examine Ambassador Hang's room. We'll see if maybe we can start the rest of our adventure waking up Mr. Carlyle. How does that sound?
I think that sounds like an excellent idea. I say, Miss Hanako, have you by any chance done this kind of thing before? You seem remarkably adept at snooping and investigating and whatnot.
See, but you put me in quite a position here, because I'll either have to answer you honestly and make myself appear suspicious, or answer you dishonestly, at which point you'll know that I'm lying to you, and I'll look even more suspicious.
I mean, that is a predicament, although, to be honest with you, I don't think you killed the man out there.
I assume you have heard about what happened with the Seki family in Republic City?
Why, yes, it was extremely big news.
And I assume you may then also be aware that I am General Seki's daughter.
I know whose daughter you are, and I knew it from the beginning, but I also know that you played a very compelling case for why you should be allowed to renounce your Fire Nation citizenship and become a citizen of the United Republic, and that is not something someone does lightly, I do not think.
Certainly not. Nonetheless, I carry with me all of the training that my mother and her desires would necessitate for somebody she wanted to see the Fire Nation into its glorious future.
Of course, you were a diplomat of sorts, were you not?
Oh, I was indeed a diplomat, and if I can say it without breaking humility, quite a good one.
I believe it. I see how you carry yourself. I see how you interact with people, and I absolutely believe it. I'm glad to have you on our side, I must say. I suppose let's look through this woman's things. That's mighty austere in here. You notice that, like, again, like with Colonel Takamori, this is a pretty, like, organized room. Like, everything is set aside very precisely, very neatly. There's not a lot in here. Like, you notice that so there's the same, like, packet of information that everyone has, although it is more kind of disheveled than you might expect. Like, the notes look like they've been kind of shuffled around and put back together, and they're a little bit, some of them are a little crumpled up, and just looks like that's been rifled through a lot. I'm assuming you want to look through those notes.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding your implications right, it looks like someone has been here before us.
I want you to roll to investigate the scene, so roll with focus.
That's an 8.
Okay, so you can pick one of the following questions, which I will post in the chat.
I feel like what is hidden here is the most obvious.
Okay. As you're going through these notes, you'll notice that they're kind of dirty. These aren't well taken care of. They look like they've been, dropped on the ground and kind of like scuffled around and picked up and then reassembled. And like, it doesn't really fit with the austerity and organization of the room. And the other thing that jumps out to you is like, so there's the same information about like, here's what you're supposed to do. Li Heng is ordered to travel from Ba Sing Se and to meet up with Lieutenant Min en route. Together, they'll travel to Kyoshi Island, yada yada, do diplomatic stuff, represent our interests, all the usual crap. There's some notes that Li Heng has written, but like there isn't anything more recent. Like she hasn't written anything back. She hasn't been keeping a log of what's been happening. She hasn't started any kind of correspondence to her superiors or done anything to indicate that she's like tracking what's happening, which strikes you as a little odd,
especially given the events of last night.
Exactly. So you don't notice any notes of any kind.
Isa.
Yes.
She hasn't written anything back to the Earth Kingdom yet.
That is extremely unusual. I feel like we've seen everyone here has been keeping some note of what's been happening for posterity, if for no other reason.
And not to mention, these notes are in unusually poor condition.
I agree. That does not make sense, given how organized this woman's room appears to be. An almost military precision, except with this one instance.
I think we should add Ambassador Hang to our list of people to talk with tonight.
I think that is an excellent idea. I believe they were bound for the local village. Beyond that, I can't say where they've gone.
I'm not certain we'd be able to catch up with them if we tried.
Well, perhaps we should go speak to Mr. Carlyle. Maybe he would have some additional information.
Yes. Let's go wake up James.
Okay, cool. Are you just going to go knock on his door?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay. You knock on his door and there is no response.
Mr. Carlyle?
Still no response.
I knock again before trying the door.
Okay, still no response. You're going to try to open the door?
Yeah.
It is unlocked. You going to open it?
Yeah, 100%. There's a dead man in this room, isn't there, Janaya?
You got There is a figure lying in the middle of the room, slumped over and not moving. You do not technically know that it's a dead man, but you strongly suspect it is.
I actually am going to shut the door as soon as I get a glimpse of it.
Okay, you shut the door before Bisa gets a chance to come over.
Moment of balance will return after these messages.
Is life in Republic City getting a little too hectic for ya? Tired of that fast-paced, big city life? Want someplace you can go where life is slower, simpler, and just plain pleasant? Kyoshi Island might be just the place you've been looking for. Once the home of an order of indomitable warriors, Kyoshi Island now combines fascinating history with down-home country living that reminds you of the good old days. Spend your days swimming, fishing, wandering the historic ruins, or sampling local cuisine that will absolutely blow your socks off. Best of all, thanks to the island's connection to the United Republic government, tourists from the city are always welcome. Come to sunny Kyoshi, where all your troubles go away.
How's the flurry?
Thrusters are burned out, of course they are. We lost both manifolds. The dimensional inversion dish is bent out of whack. Oh, and all of the saved stations on the FM radio have been reset.
What does that mean?
Well, it means we'll have to search for that alt rock station you like again.
They're back.
I'm Meanie, he's Llewellyn.
I'm Herman.
Yes, sorry, he's new.
Facing the multiverse with optimism.
Right, well, we're dead, we're dying, this is it.
And top-tier expertise.
I think I've got it working. Whoa, these electrical readings are off the charts.
Yeah, you're holding it upside down.
Oh.
Tackling danger wherever they find it.
When are you gonna land us somewhere cool?
Well, it's not like we can steer the bloody thing.
Come on! Give me dragons! Give me pirates!
Arr, trespassers!
Okay, space pirates. Way to split the difference.
And facing impossible challenges.
Llewellyn, have you considered that there will be realities where you just can't get Newcastle Brown Ale?
No, I refuse to accept it. Lobsteroids, yes. Religious robots, sure. No Nuki Brown? It's just not possible.
But can they find their way home when they can't even trust each other?
You're a real jerk, you know that?
Did I know that? It's listed on my birth certificate under gender.
I don't know if I can trust you.
Yeah, the slightest chance of getting home and you throw your entire moral code out the window.
I'm just being pragmatic.
Jump Leads, a sci-fi comedy audio drama podcast. A brand new season coming soon.
It's an infinite multiverse.
Infinitely deadly, Captain.
But infinitely funny, too.
Welcome to the Jasmine Dragon. How can I help you?
I'll have... Oh, is that a new menu?
Yes, it is. We just got a new tea supplier, Many Worlds Tavern. Want to take a look?
Yes, certainly. You offer all of this now?
Not all of it. We've got a few flavors in the shop, but they're an online tea and coffee company, so you can have tea sent straight to your house.
I'm going to pretend I know what you mean by online. What's this here, about a monthly subscription?
They've got a couple of monthly subscription packages, the Treasured Realm Single Origin Coffee Blend and the Fabled Foliage Tea Selection. Each one comes with a bunch of fun accessories, like stickers, collectible cards, and a set of dice. It's tea for the tabletop.
Dice? I'm partial to Pai Sho myself. I don't think I know any dice games.
I think there's a version of Street Pai Sho that uses dice.
I'll consider it.
They sell all kinds of gaming accessories too. Dice trays, playmats, the works. Also, a portion of every bag of tea or coffee purchased is donated to gaming-related nonprofits.
Tempting, tempting. I don't know if I'm in the market for a whole bag right now, but let me try a cup of the monthly special. The Bright Wheel. A spicy lemon rooibos sounds like just the thing I need to relax in an evening.
Coming right up? And, if you change your mind, you can use our affiliate link in the description below and use coupon code BardRockCafe for a discount. Here you are. Thanks for stopping by the Jasmine Dragon.
Anytime. Ooh, that's good.
And now, back to Moment of Balance.
I say, is everything all right? Was he in, or?
Bisa.
He is?
I would like you to take a deep breath.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what is in that room. Okay? And I need you to remain calm.
From the tone you take and your mannerisms, I already strongly suspect that we are about to find the remains of Mr. Carlyle in that room. Am I correct in that assumption?
It would seem to be the case.
Oh.
I respect your skills. I do. But I would like to ensure that you can put them to use today. Yes?
I think that's a wise decision.
I suggest that we let this sit as it is and keep it to ourselves until my friends, including Officer Fuzhou, who is accustomed to examining dead bodies, can review the situation.
I think that would be a wise decision.
In that case, then, why don't we move along?
Very well. What do you suggest we do next?
I'd like to wake up Lieutenant Min and see if they might be able to give us any insight as to what Ambassador Hang is up to.
All right, Lieutenant Min opens the door looking extremely groggy and I'm...
Lieutenant, I apologize for disturbing your rest.
No, it's fine. Is everything okay?
Yes. I just had a couple of questions for you about Ambassador Hang.
Certainly. Come in, both of you. You can both come in.
Thank you for your time, Lieutenant Min. I promise we'll make this quick.
Of course. Come in if you want.
Ambassador Hang, something about her bearing has struck me as, I don't know, a little odd. Can you tell me about their background? Where is she from?
I mean, I don't exactly know. I told you before, I'm assigned to Army headquarters in Ba Sing Se, and I didn't know Ambassador Hang. I received orders to meet up with her en route. We did that. We traveled here. She's not a very talkative woman, and I didn't know her before. We don't do much with the diplomatic corps, so...
I see. And so nothing about Ambassador Hang has struck you as out of the ordinary?
I mean, she's a very distant woman, but I didn't expect her to be particularly invested in talking to her bodyguard.
Of course. Ambassador Hang left for town this morning. Did she perchance tell you where she was off to?
No, I don't. She didn't mention anything. I don't know why she'd be going to town.
I see. Well then, Baisa, do you have anything?
I don't think we need to question this woman any further. I think we should let her get some sleep.
I think that sounds like a wonderful plan. Thank you again for your time, Lieutenant.
Before we go, Lieutenant, did you by any chance hear anything last night? The lieutenant looks confused. Yeah, now that you mention it, someone was moving around or something last night. It was right after I switched shifts with the Fire Nation captain. I don't know. Figured someone's just having a hard time getting to sleep.
Was it just the captain that switched shifts for you? Or was Colonel Takamori there as well?
I didn't see Colonel Takamori. I think she'd gone to bed by then.
I see. Thank you.
Of course. I think as you're doing all this, sufficient time has elapsed for Chong and Fuzhou to get back. The site of the shooter isn't actually that far from, it's maybe like a 10-minute walk or less from the compound. If you know where it is, it was finding it that took you an hour or two.
Were we around when Ambassador Hang left, actually? Did we see Ambassador Hang leave?
I believe I established that Fuzhou, she was leaving around the same time Fuzhou was leaving.
Okay, I'll talk to Fuzhou about it then.
Fuzhou and Chong, you come back into the compound. I don't know. I think fortuitously, as Baisa and Hanako are coming out of the dormitory area, unless you wanted to do anything else right now.
No. Officer, Chong, if you please.
Did you find anything else out?
Sort of. We have our suspicions about Ambassador Hang. Additionally, there's something that you might want to take a look at, officer.
What is this?
It's James Carlyle. He's lying on the ground in his room.
Lying on the ground? How?
In a not moving kind of way. We have not told anyone.
Oh, like me after I have one too many triple butter toasts.
No, she means he's dead.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
You saw Ambassador Hang leave this morning, yes?
Yes. I was hoping perhaps maybe she'd come back because I want to have a few words with her myself.
She went off to town. How did she leave? Was it on foot?
Yes, she left on foot.
We'll be able to catch up on Azula then. I'd like it if you and Chong could investigate the body. I'm going to take Baisa and we're going to see if we can track down Ambassador Hang.
If you speak with her, make sure to mention a Papa pear.
Papa pear.
Gauge her reaction.
I turn to Baisa. That'll be on you.
I would happily assist. Okay, so Chong and Hanako, y'all are going to go try to catch up with Li Hang.
Yeah, Chong wants to follow and assist with Fuzhou.
Okay, so you're going to help Fuzhou. So you're going to go into Carlisle's room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let me investigate that body. I want to see what caused this. Does he have any wounds that are bleeding?
Yeah.
Did he just die?
So you go into the dormitory, you find the room that has James Carlisle's name written on the door, you open the door, and he is lying there in the middle of the floor, unmoving. He is kind of face down, sort of slumped over.
Maybe you should go in and close the door, and I can stand in front and be peace officer-y and keep people away for a bit.
Yeah, sounds good. Just don't look suspicious because you don't want to be in more hot water than you were before.
Tom's I don't know what you're talking about, man. I've been flying high.
The body is just laying there. What you doing role-playing wise here?
Well, I'm gonna roll him over for one.
Okay, so initial impressions. I'm assuming you want to look around the room.
Yeah, that as well.
Okay, so your impression of the room is that it looks like he fell over, possibly. You don't really notice a lot of signs of a struggle. You don't see any signs of like obvious like damage to the environment. The glass is still intact. You don't see any bullet holes or anything like that. So you're gonna roll him over. You don't notice any wounds of any kind. He's definitely dead though. Like you do not feel a pulse. His eyes are open. He has a sort of a shocked look on his face, frozen on his face as you roll him over.
Any bruises, specifically around his neck, perhaps?
You do not see any bruising around his neck. You don't see any signs of like injury. There's no, as far as you can tell, no stab wounds, no cuts.
Now, this seems like this could be a poisoning. Is there any sign of, like, something he perhaps drank before he, or ate? Oh no! Hanako, what did you do?
You do see a cup of, you see an empty cup of tea on the desk. If you want to go over and take a look, it still looks like there's a little bit of tea left in it. Do you want to investigate that more closely?
Sure.
Roll with focus.
That's a 9.
You don't notice anything unusual about the tea. It's cold. It smells like regular tea. You don't have any particular specialized experience in poisons, but like you don't notice anything off about the aroma. You wisely do a little taste test, just a little bit there. Probably not a great idea. Probably not a great idea, but it doesn't matter because there's nothing wrong with it. It just tastes like tea. That seems to be completely normal. You want to turn your attention back to the body?
Yeah, let me
roll to investigate the scene. That is with you can roll with creativity or focus.
Oh, that's bad.
What'd you get?
6.
Do you want to get Chong in to help?
Yeah. Hey, Chong, come on in here. Take a look at this. I can't see anything unusual here. No wounds, my first thought was poison, but it doesn't look like there's anything around here he could have been poisoned with. Is there anything you see that I can't?
Well, I've checked, like, the mouth and all the body parts.
What caused this?
So, as you're investigating this body, you notice, Chong, there's like a carpet, like an area rug in this area. And you notice that the area rug right where this guy is lying, like right near where his head was, is damp. Like extremely damp. More than would be explainable by saliva. You don't smell, neither of you smell any traces of poison. There are no visible injuries. The only thing that hints at what might have caused this is there's a bunch of water that seeped into this carpet.
So I think Chong walks over and picks up the corner of the damp carpet. He says, well, it looks like it's damp here with water. Could this be something ending related?
You, Fuzhou, hear a knock on the door.
Oh boy!
You have a thought that was interrupted by this knock on the door, which I will get back to you on once you answer the door.
Maybe Chong should answer this.
The knock again. Carlisle, open up.
Chong decides to move past Fuzhou and opens the door a crack and puts his head through and goes, "Hello,
What are you doing here?
Fuzhou is going to push Chong out of the way and say, I'm so sorry, ma'am. There has been another disturbance here, and I've been investigating, and he's been helping me. Would you like to come in?
You see Colonel Takamori kind of like, her face is like, I know what this means. Yes, I'll come in.
Fuzhou is going to open the door and show off Carlisle's body in all of its possibly drowned glory.
Well, I had come here to check on this man, since we hadn't heard from him since last night. That answers my question about that. What happened exactly? And on that note, and you kind of already made that connection anyway, you get this strange sense that this guy drowned. You cannot figure out how that could possibly happen, but it looks like he drowned.
Well, we've been investigating the body. We found no puncture wounds, no entry points, no exit points, no poisoning, no bruises, nothing that would indicate a violent struggle except for this unusual amount of water. I believe this man was drowned.
How was he drowned in the middle of a building, exactly?
Tell me this, are you aware of any waterbenders that are anywhere near this conference?
No, I You see Colonel Takamori kind of like think for a second. No, as far as I know, my lieutenant is a firebender. The Earth Kingdom's lieutenant is an earthbender. Yourself, your airbender friend here, your firebender friend, and everyone else here is a non-bender. Myself and Ambassador Heng are both non-benders, as is both of the representatives from the industries and our friend Major Adler as well. I think that about takes stock of all of them, doesn't it?
We aren't in an isolated town here. We're not the only people on this island.
I think the obvious conclusion is that there's someone else that we don't know about. Do you mind telling me what you discovered out there when you were poking around?
Well, while we were poking around, it seemed like our culprit was very clearly an earthbender. Somebody who not only dug a little divot for themselves to hide while using a long-range rifle, but also is a fan of a very particular fruit from Ba Sing Se. So I have my hunches on who killed our United Republic ambassador, but this is throwing a wrench in everything.
You see Colonel Hakamura kind of like frown. She's trying to decide what she wants to do exactly. Because this is not technically in any way, like, she doesn't have any authority here. She's high ranking, but she's high ranking in the Fire Nation. This is Earth Kingdom. She's just here as a representative. Don't tell anyone else about this.
I was not planning on it.
I hope I don't have to point out that 2 dead bodies in as many days represents a pattern, do I?
You certainly do not.
And obviously this maybe doesn't rule out Ms. Adler for the first murder, but definitely for this one.
I think it rules out Miss Adler for the first as well. I am firmly convinced that an earthbender did this. Or did the first murder, at least.
I don't suppose you think you can get anything more out of her, do you?
Adler?
Yes.
Oh, certainly not. I mean, I could try again, but maybe she needs a different approach. Who knows? She said she wants to cause chaos.
Well, this will certainly do that.
Though if I remember anything about the Earth Empire, they weren't too fond of non-earthbenders.
The Fire Nation isn't fond of non-firebenders, and that hasn't managed to stop me. People have a way of surprising you sometimes. I need to record this so that my superiors can learn of what happened here. If we manage to get some way of communicating with the outside world. I don't suppose either of you knows how to fix a radio.
I think Chong thinks for a moment. He says, no. You can tell he's thinking.
Something on your mind?
I would need to test it. And I don't know if anyone would actually pick it up, but a move where I can, bend the air with sound and push it places or whatnot. I might be able to, have the sound travel far, but I'd have to make it travel over an ocean. We could try sending a message through me to, the shipyard and say, hey, send a ship. SOS.
I mean, I suppose it's worth a try. We're not exactly close to the shore right now. Someone will eventually come to see what's happened here. The explosions weren't quiet. And even though this is an isolated area, someone will come to check eventually. My concern is what eventually means for all of us. She grits her teeth and looks between the two of you. I have to go record this information. I trust you, Inspector, to secure this evidence and make sure that nobody panics.
Well, that's my job.
Let's hope for all of our sakes that you're good at it.
Wouldn't have been promoted if I wasn't.
She just, ignores you and kind of, pushes by and heads back to her room. I want to jump back over to Hanako.
Yeah.
You're on Azula and you're trying to catch up with Li Heng, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay, so let's see. It's been, It's been about an hour since she left. Maybe a little more than that. So you don't exactly know where she might have gone because, she got a fairly good head start even on foot. You don't quite catch up to her right away. So you're going to go, to the town and just kind of, look for her, right?
Pretty much.
Cool.
I'll ask around about her. I mean, it's a town.
Fantastic idea. You ask around a few people. How are you describing her?
I will describe her as a woman wearing glasses and lipstick, short-cut hair, who last I knew was dressed in Earth Kingdom attire. I would assume that it would not be out of the question to describe it as like somewhat fancy clothing.
So most of the people you run into don't seem to know who you're talking about, or they like remember from like when they got off the ship originally. Eventually you find your way to there's like an old dude who's just kind of like sitting there on a porch and just like looking around, and you come up and describe this woman, and he looks at you real closely. I think I saw her the other day. I don't know that I'd call what she was wearing fancy or not. I saw her 3 days ago now, maybe 4 days ago, just walking around town, wearing one of them officer coats that they used to wear. Is that the one you mean?
The officer coat that they used to wear. When?
Oh, those when they were doing Kuvira's forces, they used to wear these.
That's what I was afraid you would say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wearing a nice coat. There's lots of them in circulation now. They sold all that stuff a long time ago.
Certainly. I'm sure they're very nice coats. Thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. Are you going to continue asking around? Because, like, the description you were given doesn't quite match.
Yeah, I'm going to ask around, but I'm going to start asking about the coat instead of describing her the outfit she was in when she left.
Okay. You get a couple of people that don't know what you're talking about or kind of like vaguely remember someone of that description. Finally, you run into like a shopkeeper, someone that's like selling like provisions and shit on the side of the road. And she like her eyes light up when you talk about that. Oh yeah, she was here a few days ago buying food. She's kind of an asshole between you and me. Why are you looking for her?
She was attending a meeting with us at the diplomatic center.
Oh no! Not the delegate. They came in just a couple days ago. This was someone else. I don't know who she was, but like I said, she was kind of an asshole.
Wait, no, the delegate. What did the delegate look like?
The delegates, the Earth Kingdom. There was the one dressed like an officer with long hair, and the woman with the tight bun and the glasses, but she wasn't wearing the same thing. And besides, this woman, her hair was different, her skin was different. A completely different person. There's no way I would have gotten them mixed up.
I see. Thank you for your help.
I hope I was helpful. Would you like to buy some fruit?
What do you have?
Well, we've got a few different things. We got these pineapples in recently from Ba Sing Se. They're fresh.
From Ba Sing Se?
Of course, that's where they grow them.
I'll tell you what, I have been dining with some Earth Kingdom friends of mine lately, trying some new things, you see. Do you have any papa pears in stock?
Yeah, we have a shipment right from Ba Sing Se. They're fresh.
I'll have one of those.
Okay, here. She does the thing, you give her money, you've got a papa pear now.
I will put this in my bag for later.
What is your plan now? Are you going to continue to try to see if anyone saw the delegate, or are you going to sort of head back?
I want to confer with Visa. So, what do you think? Do you think that the delegate... There seem to be 2 people now that we're looking for, but I'm not certain there are 2 people.
That is extremely interesting. Hold on, let me ask this woman a question real quick. Ma'am, if you don't mind me asking, was there anything about this woman that stood out to you? You seem fairly sure that she and the delegate were not the same person. If you care to like indulge me for a minute, is there any particular features that jumped out at you? The woman thinks for a second and she looks at you and says, well, she had these really bright, like almost purple eyes, and she was really tan, so they stood out. It was like she was just boring right into me. Honestly, she kind of scared me. And she had this scar on her face, too. Like, she reminded me of some of the... We get soldiers in here sometimes because of the diplomatic center, and she reminded me of one of them. They were terrifying sometimes.
Interesting. Thank you again for your time.
Of course. Thank you for buying a papaya pear. They're really good.
Oh, I know. They are quite the treat.
As you are kind of like walking around talking with Baisa, you notice Li Heng is walking away from the area of the harbor. Specifically, like, it looked like she was kind of far on the far end of the harbor where there's like some buildings and stuff that are kind of abandoned looking. She doesn't see you right now. You're still on Azula, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like off on a side street, and she's like pretty focused on just like walking along the harbor. So she's far enough away that she doesn't see you. If you try to approach her, she's gonna see you pretty soon. But for now, you're unseen. So what would you like to do?
I nudge Azula to back up into the alley just a tiny bit, and then I tug on Baisa's sleeve to get their attention. Point him in the direction.
I see our subject is unaware of our presence. How would you like to proceed now?
Do you think you might be able to discern anything from observing them for a time?
I think I could if we were to walk up a little bit behind them, close enough that I can watch them move, but not so close that they observe our presence. I think that would be wise.
I find some kind of post or something to tie Azula to. Give her a little pat, assure her that we'll be back soon.
So, like, there's some people around. There's, like, random townspeople, harbor people. Everyone's kind of trying to, like, clean up all the mess from the explosions that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard to follow Li Heng as she's walking along, and she's walking along the harbor, and you see Baisa kind of like squints a little bit and gives you a little bit of a nudge. I'll say she's walking just the way you do. I mean, not exactly the way you do, but she's got the same feeling of somebody who's had a few different walked a few different paths in her life. The way that you say you trained with people with different bending styles. She has that exact same feeling to her. I can't shake the impression of it. I don't recall from the packet exactly, but I seem to recall that it said she was not a bender herself, though.
I believe that's what my packet said as well.
Maybe she spent some time among people of a specific training. It's very strange to me. I would expect an earthbender from someone so high-ranking, but no, I don't get the solid sense of an earthbender. Something else is there. Let's continue, if you don't mind.
Of course.
I want you to roll with Harmony.
Oh, yeah, I'm good at that. That's an 11.
Okay, she's walking along, and you notice that she takes a little bit of a turn again. This is, like, off on the edge of the harbor, and she is walking toward, like, there's another kind of set of like abandoned sort of shacks off in the corner. You feel Baisa kind of elbow you in the side again. Do you see that there on her hip right there? That resembles one of the weapons that was confiscated from Major Adler. Did that woman take one of those weapons by any chance?
I believe Lieutenant Min had them last I knew.
I wish we'd inquired as to whether or not they had them on hand. Let us continue, if you do not mind. You notice that, so Li Heng has now gone into a series of, like, shacks. You don't see a lot of people around there. You can't see where she's going anymore, so you could continue to follow, but you'd have to get a lot closer. And if you don't, you're probably going to lose sight of her and not know what exactly she's doing.
Let me get a sense for where we're at in particular. You said we're by the harbor still?
You're by the harbor. You're off to the side of like the main area of the harbor. There's like a low section of like on both sides of the harbor. There's like basically what look like sort of abandoned shanty towns. Like there's no one living there anymore. They're kind of run down. There isn't anything particular that you see, like, important there.
Has Li Heng acted at all, like, shady? Like, she's trying to kind of sneak her way off this way, or...
So we'll leverage Bisa's powers of observation. She is trying to appear very inconspicuous, but she's moving very naturally in a way that doesn't look familiar. Like you don't get the same like rigidly composed sense that you got when you met her before.
Yeah, she doesn't walk with the same bearing here.
Yeah, exactly. She's not specifically trying to sneak around, but she's trying to do the kind of like hide in plain sight, like just sort of be casual about it.
A maneuver that Hanako has never managed.
Wait, question. Do you have that Papadopoulos?
Yes.
Would you like to use it?
100%. I want to decide retroactively that Hanako has been wearing her nice Earth Kingdom dress. And I think it's at this point that Hanako's gonna say, I have an idea. Stay back. And then Hanako's going to walk out, and I'll have Hanako, like, take her hair down, rustle it up just a teensy bit. I'm just gonna hope that a severe change in attitude masks my face enough. Yeah, Hanako's just gonna start walking up and go, Hey, you over there!
You see Li Heng, like, start. And then her whole demeanor changes. Like, she straightens up and looks the way that you're used to her looking up until now. And she turns and squints at you. And, like, you see almost recognition, but then it just vanishes.
Hanako is not walking with the bearing that she normally does. She's not...
No, you have fully tricked her into thinking you are a different person.
She is trying her best to look like a feminine version of the twins' uncle. I'm gonna do the southern accent because we've kind of established that as an Earth Kingdom thing now.
So as you're walking up, not only so her bearing changes, she's straightened up, and also, like, you can see now, you're close enough that you can see she's wearing a pistol on her hip in a holster. Like, it looks from your point of view very similar to the one that Adenia Adler had. Maybe not the same gun, but it's a firearm, which she was not wearing before. Can I help you?
Jilson Johansson, at your service.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
Jilson Johansson.
Jilson Johansson. Do we know each other?
No, I just, you'll have to forgive me. I saw you from way over there. You don't look like you're from around here, are you?
No, I'm here on official Earth Kingdom business. Who are you?
I'm a tourist myself, you know. I'm traveling around getting the lay of the land, as it were. You ever been to Ba Sing Se?
I am from Ba Sing Se.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, and I pull the Papa Pear out of my pocket. Why don't you split one of these with me?
Why would I? You see her kind of like raise an eyebrow, but she doesn't necessarily react to it.
She says, I'm from this little town over on the coast, you know. We got a nice mixed population down there, and let me tell you, I've been eating these things up, and I crack it in half, and I take a bite out of one and just savor it. And I did say I've had one of these before. This is great. Hanako loves this shit. Offers the other one out.
No, thank you.
Oh no, I insist. What brings you out here? You said Earth Kingdom business?
I don't believe that's any of your business specifically.
Come on. I start like handing it, like, if she puts her hand up at any point to motion with it, I'm trying to put the pear in her hand. I mean, what you out here for? This is such a quiet little place for such an important person like yourself to be running down to.
I am going to have to ask you to leave now, Miss whatever you said your name was.
Johansson, come on!
Of course. I think you should be leaving now. As she says this, you notice that she's dropping into a stance. Like, she looks threatened, but she's not dropping into a stance that resembles someone who's used to using a gun. In fact, she's kind of ignoring the gun on her hip, and it looks like a bending stance, which... Roll to assess the situation.
I'm going to mark an extra fatigue to do this with Unity. That's going to bring me up to a 7.
This resembles, it kind of reminds you of the bending style of the twins.
Yeah, I bet it does.
But there's something else in there. Like, it feels like it's combined with something different. Something more sort of like, you recognize it, but you're not quite sure why. It reminds you of someone you know.
Jilson cocks her head. Hey, back in my hometown, we do something kind of like that. I mentioned we were nice coastal mixed heritages, you know? It's a real fancy trick.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, but I am going to have to ask you to go back to whatever hole you crawled out of. You notice that her demeanor is very different than when you talked to her before. Like, when you talked to her before, she was distant, but this is like threatening.
I think I'll be like, look, all right, fine. Look, I'll go if you just take the pair.
She straightens up again and stands up again in the way that she was before, but, again, this is a notable change. Like, even you can notice this. Fine, I will take the pair, if you promise to leave me alone.
Just take the pair, take a bite with me. It'd be an honor, and then I'll leave you be.
Very well. She takes a bite and kind of makes a face at it and swallows.
Oh, okay. So this person does not like this pair.
She does not look like she likes this pair.
Okay, that's good. I take a bite, savor it, just go, delicious. All right, you have a good day now. And I give her a little wave, and I start walking back off in the other direction.
Okay, as you're walking off, you notice that she now turns away from where she was going and the like huts and stuff, and is now walking pointedly like away from it, back towards the facility.
I will pocket the half of the pair again for later.
Okay, are you going to go back and check in with Bisa about what just happened there? Because Bisa could see that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Did that get you anything?
I should say it did. That was like watching a completely different person from before.
Why, thank you. I consider myself quite the actress.
Oh, no, your thing was ridiculous. I'm amazed that fooled her. I don't understand how that worked, but you'll have to teach me how to do that sometime. That was amazing.
It's all about confidence and posing.
I can see that. Well, I was referring to our ambassador friend. I'm sure you noticed the difference in her demeanor, and I assume she was attempting to threaten you at one point, and I definitely got that sense there.
Oh, very clearly. Not to mention, with a style quite similar to the one that I've learned.
Yes, well, I told you before, I can see the way people, their training influences how they stand, and I was unsure before, but now I have, I think, got the measure of it. I was expecting her to reach for her firearm, but she ignored it completely, and
there was something else, too. Something I can't quite place. I know I've seen it before.
I know what you mean. It reminds me, I do say, of your airbending friend, I think. Yes, someone who spent some time with the air nomads or learned something of their techniques. I think that's what I'm seeing there.
Maybe we've identified your rogue airbender.
Beginning to suspect that the tip about a rogue airbender might have been misdirection, but perhaps there is more to it than I thought.
Why don't we get headed back? It's important that we beat her there.
As you're watching, she's now like out of sight. So she's definitely headed back, but Bisa kind of like gestures towards the shack. We might have time to see what she was trying to find over there before we head back. I think it might be worth our while to see what exactly she was so keen on getting to over there.
Absolutely. Well then, let's get going.
All right, so as you walk over to these shacks, like, you notice there's not a lot of there's no people around. You do expect there'd be like maybe some people like doing something with this building, but it's just kind of all run down. As you're investigating, you sort of poke through a few different buildings, and then you find one building that looks like it's been used more recently. It's a sort of a one-room shack, but it looks like somebody's been there, and they've kind of like moved stuff around. around. So there's a lot of just junk everywhere. But yeah, would you like to try to poke around a little bit?
100%.
I'm going to have you roll with focus to investigate the scene.
I've got a 5. If I mark with... Oh, no. Nope, there's nothing I can do. I gotta take this.
So as you're looking around, you can't really figure out exactly what is going on. There's a lot of like evidence that somebody has been here, but you can't quite figure out what it was. I'm going to give you an option here. If you spent some time here, you would probably be able to find something. Like, say you spent like another hour kind of combing through it. But that would mean that you are going to let Li Hang go fully back to the compound, presumably, without any, like, you not being there. I want you to make a decision. Do you want to spend the extra time, or do you want to go back?
I think Hanako sees that this is going to take a little while. Hanako's hard committing. Hanako's staying. Baisa's staying. We're looking, and then we'll head back, and that's going to be okay.
This is going to take... So it's going to take a little bit of time. So you are spending the time to really rip this fucking place apart. You look all over the place, and finally, underneath a set of, like, boards, there's kind of like a cavity dug into the dirt floor beneath this. Perhaps earth-bended. You can't tell. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that underneath these boards, you find what looks like a portable radio set. You don't know enough about this to know exactly what this is or how it works, but you know it's a radio of some kind.
I've received a little bit of radio training.
You have! You're an admiral. That's right. Or we're an admiral. You know what this is. This is, while the model is slightly different than what you're familiar with from your firebending, or for your Fire Nation military training, you do recognize this. This is a short-range, hand-cranked field radio. It is a two-way radio capable of communicating with another person with a similar radio. It has a fairly short range, but like it could probably reach somebody on the mainland, and it could definitely reach somebody else on the island.
Does it just pick up signals from, like, is it omnidirectional is what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, it's omnidirectional. It's like basically like a walkie-talkie.
Well, I dare say we should keep this on hand and see if we get any missives for our good friend.
I certainly think so. This is not the sort of thing that I would have expected an ambassador to have on hand or want to look for.
And if we play around, we might be able to get onto a different frequency, see if we can send an SOS to the mainland.
I agree completely. Perhaps we should start on our way back, I think.
Absolutely, though I think our chances of beating Ambassador Hang there have long passed.
I agree. All right, so I'm gonna switch back to Chong and Fuzhou. So y'all are still back at the compound, right?
Yes.
What are y'all doing?
You know what? We're having lunch.
Okay, you're having lunch. All right, so
I think Fuzhou is sort of like taking some notes, trying to assemble everything, trying to see like, okay, who could possibly be a waterbender around here? Or like, is there any staff in the, probably like taking inventory of all the staff at the compound?
Yeah.
Because clearly there's a kitchen. Like maybe there's a waterbender.
Let's say at some point you ask Yui if she has a roster of all the staff. And it sounds like the staff here have been, one, very heavily vetted, and two, are all non-benders. The only information on benders is your dossier for the people that are present here, and the only benders are the two attaches, are an earthbender and a firebender, and y'all. Everyone else is a non-bender. As you're eating lunch, you notice that Ambassador Hang has come back and has like walked in and goes to the back of the compound, finds Colonel Takamori and the Fire Nation guy. So the Lieutenant Min is now guarding the
Fuzhou is going to try and intercept her.
Okay. She's like moving pretty quick, and she walks back, and you hear her speaking to the Fire Nation people like very quickly, and they get like very urgent, agitated looking, and they go like running past you and out the door, or out of the compound. So you're gonna want to talk to her, I assume?
Yes, I want to talk to her, but I'm going to tell Chong to catch up with the Fire Nation people.
Okay, cool. So you're going to send Chong off.
Yeah.
All right. So Chong, are you going to do that?
I was going to take the last 2 big bites of his rice bowl. Maybe air scooters his way over to the Fire Nation guys.
Okay, cool. So they're like running pretty fast. And okay, so as you're doing that, you go up to Li Hang.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, Miss Li Hang.
Yes, what is it?
I'd like to have a word with you.
This isn't really a good time, if you don't mind, Inspector. Something has come up.
Nothing is ever a good time right now with a murder on the presence.
Very well. What is it exactly?
I would just like to ask you a few things about your familiarity with the United Republic and with our poor deceased friend from last night.
You mean the representative from the United Republic who was shot?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to know?
I'm just curious if you had any prior relationship with him.
I mean, we met in a diplomatic capacity, but I'm relatively new to this whole thing, so I hadn't really had a chance to establish much of a reputation.
Seems like most of the people around here are relatively new.
Roll with creativity.
Roll with creativity. Ooh, yeah, that's a 14.
So something she just said stood out to you. The dossier on Ambassador Hang mentions that she had been in service of the Earth Kingdom for a long time.
Oh.
Something you definitely remembered now.
You say you are relatively new at this.
Yes.
I spoke to your bodyguard, and she did say that you've been at this a while.
I don't see how my bodyguard would know much about my service, since she did not know me prior. I spent many years in service to the Earth Kingdom, but not in the diplomatic capacity specifically.
We were all given pretty detailed notes on everybody. Here, I believe that everybody was given very similar notes, and I would be surprised if your dossier had not been, even if you'd never met before, briefed on perhaps your service to the Earth Kingdom and your service to Ba Sing Se and as an ambassador.
Inspector, I'm sure this is extremely important to whatever you have going on, but I need to speak to that woman in there immediately. Something very important has come up, and I believe it is of critical importance that I figure out exactly what the truth of the matter is. If you don't mind. She starts walking toward the kitchen, towards where Adenia is held up.
Fuzhou is going to walk in front of her. I'm so sorry. I cannot let you walk in there without prior clearance. That is a prisoner.
You have no right to. This is an Earth Kingdom captive who is demanded to be treated as a prisoner of war under Earth Kingdom law, and you are an inspector for the United Republic. You have no authority to tell me what to do.
May I please ask you what you are intending to ask her about?
I received information that she might have compatriots on this island who were responsible for the death of that man yesterday, and I am going to find out the truth of the matter immediately.
If you insist on speaking with Adenia, I insist on coming in with you.
Very well, fine. She walks up to Lieutenant Min and motions. Let me in, I need to speak to the prisoner. She opens the door and they walk in. You haven't been telling us the truth, have you? And Adenia kind of looks up and smiles at Li Hang. Captain? I've been the captain for some time. It's ambassador now. Now, do you mind telling me exactly what's going on this fucking island? She walks closer to Adenia and, kneels down next to her.
Fuzhou doesn't like that. Fuzhou is, kneels down next to her as in is going to touch her handcuffs.
As in, you can't see what she's doing.
Fuzhou is going to walk up to Li Hang. Ma'am, would you please step away from the prisoner?
I thought I was clear that you have no right to tell me what to do with our prisoner.
Miss Li Hang, what exactly were you a captain of? Since that was not in my briefing.
Your briefing is obviously rather limited, and I don't think that's any of your business.
No, I believe it is my business. As a High Inspector for United Republic, I have authority within this conference.
Roll for passion.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. 4.
So as you're saying this, she kind of runs up to you and moving just like you've seen airbenders move, kind of grabs you, leverages you against her hip, and tosses you against the freezer. You're on your ass for a second. I'm not going to make you take a penalty. She does have enough time to take the handcuffs off of Adenia and hands her the gun that's still on her hip and says, You need to go now. Find her and make sure it gets done. I'll take care of this one. And Adenia runs to the door and, like, bangs on the door. Lieutenant Min opens the door, and Adenia, like, bolts out.
Fuzhou is going to shout at Lieutenant Min, "Stop her at whatever cost!"
By the way, at the same time you hear this, Chong, you have not gone far in, so, like, you haven't quite caught up to the firebenders yet, because as you're doing all this, you hear a loud bang come from the kitchen, and you see a woman running towards you holding a gun.
On an average Tuesday.
You've got the choice to, like, try to intercept her or just kind of let her go. I'm assuming you want to try to stop her from running, because you recognize this woman. This is Major Adler. She shouldn't be running with a gun at all. That's not right.
I think especially if she's running in the direction of the firebenders, he's going to assume that she's going after them.
That's a reasonable assumption to make, but okay, so you're going to try to stop her.
Yes.
You told Lieutenant Min to go stop Adenia,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so basically, there's two combat exchanges. One is Chong, you and Lieutenant Min are facing off against Adenia, who is armed and still, like, you know, a little knocked up from everything that happened. Like, she had a not fantastic night's sleep in the fucking freezer, so she's still a little dinged up. And you are in combat exchange with the empowered status against someone who moves a lot like an airbender. So who wants to go first?
I want to trap her arms with the fridge grates.
Li Heng is going to advance and attack. Adenia is going to defend and maneuver. Lieutenant Min is going to do defend and maneuver.
Fuzhou is also going to advance and attack.
Okay, cool. So defend and maneuver. Chong, what you doing?
Chong is going to advance and attack.
All right, so Adenia is going to use pinpoint aim. Lieutenant Min is going to use earth armor. All right, advance and attack, people.
All right. That is a 9. I'm going to smash.
What are you smashing?
I'm going to take the fridge grates, and I'm going to basically try and bend them around her arms and attach her to the wall. I'm going to inflict trapped.
Li Heng is going to use the 3 fatigue to get out of that. Okay, so she gets 2 advance and attack moves. As you're attempting to do this, she, like, does that fucking airbender, like, jumping up over the metal that you put in, lands closer to the door, and then drops into a stance that looks an awful lot like a waterbending stance. And suddenly, you can't fucking breathe. Fuck! Using a technique inspired by Zahir's assassination of the Earth Queen, use the victim's own bodily fluids to cause them to choke. Mark 1 fatigue to cause your victim to become impaired. If they're already impaired, mark 1 fatigue to cause them to become trapped. Fuzhou, you feel something in your throat as if someone were forcing your head underwater. You can't see any, like, reason why this is happening. Like, you didn't see any, like, water coming from anywhere. You don't know what the fuck is happening. You just know that you can't breathe. You feel like something is choking you from the inside. Like, everything in your stomach and everything is kind of, like, caught in your throat. And you are completely unable to get out of breath or say anything. So she is really near the door. Hold on 1 second, because we got the Chong and crew. Okay, so Chong, you're advancing and attacking, right?
Yep. 6 + 1 is 7. So my plan was to use Cannonball, engage with Adenia, and inflict a condition on her.
Okay, cool. Sure.
I imagine this as Chong scootering. He does a U-turn and goes up the direct path that Adenia is going, and he creates, like, this ball of air around him, like it morphs from the scooter to, like, almost like a pinball in a pinball machine, and he just suddenly rockets forward and he just slams into her. And I like to think that he knocks her off her feet and, knocks the air out of her lungs.
You knock her on her ass. She's afraid.
Ooh, I like that. Chunk's never made anyone afraid before.
All right, between combat. So as you are in the thing, Li Heng turns and runs out. So while you're like fighting for air, she runs out. As soon as she leaves, and disengages, you can breathe again.
Okay.
So whatever the fuck was happening, you're now able to breathe.
So do I cough up water?
You cough up like some bile.
Okay, so she was using my own fucking stomach contents as water.
Maybe. You don't know that. You just know that you felt like you were drowning for a second. Now you don't. She is going to enter the engagement with Chong and Lieutenant Min.
Oh no.
So Chong, you see this woman running up towards you. She's not really saying anything. She's just kind of like running into this engagement. And Adenia is like standing there holding this gun and aiming it at, it looks like she's aiming it at you, Chong.
So, can I also join this engagement?
You sure can.
Okay.
Can I join this engagement?
I am going to say that you are getting close. So it took you a while. So I'm going to say after, we'll give it like 2 more rounds and then you can join the fray. So, okay. All right. Next up, pick your approaches.
Chong chooses to defend and maneuver this turn.
Fuzhou is going to advance and attack.
Li Heng is going to attack and advance and attack. Lieutenant Min is going to defend and maneuver. And Adenia is going to advance and attack. Okay, so first defend and maneuver, right? Lieutenant Min, she moves into an earthbending stance, and you can't quite see what she does, but it looks like she kind of like pushes up the dirt underneath Adenia. So Adenia is still on her ass, and she's got her gun pointed at you, Chong. She kind of gets like thrown off a little bit. Her aim gets moved. Chong, what you doing?
Chong, good news, guys. A 10 plus a 1 rolled an 11. Nice to use his favorite move, Air Swipe, and he's going to cast it at Dina and Li Heng. And then for my second move, I think I will seize a position. Chong's preparing an Air Swipe. He's keeping an eye on these things, and he's preparing an Air Swipe. But I think what he does is that Chong is going to aim the higher ground. So I think Chong is going to do like a rocket of air below him, and he's going to go high up in the air. He's going to kind of almost like what he did with Varric and like prepare an air swipe and wait for an opening up there.
As you're doing that, you see Li Heng sort of moves into an airbending stance and then flips around and tosses like a thin jet of water at you and knocks you to the ground. So that's blocking your attempt to seize the position. So next, advance and attack people. Let's go, baby. Roll with passion.
All right, that's 10.
All right, you get to use 2.
All right, well, for one, Fuzhou is going to use Smash. You did mention earlier that Adenia's gun is not particularly notable, right? It seems like it's made of a non-platinum metal.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he's just going to crush her entire fucking gun.
Okay.
Yeah, gonna crush that gun, and then I'm going to slide the earth underneath, using strike. I'm gonna slide the earth underneath Li Heng to make her lose her balance and fall on her ass.
Before you manage to crush the gun, Adenia gets 1 shot off. Unfortunately, due to the subtle misdirection that Lieutenant Min did, the shot hits, it doesn't hit anything. It fires wide and goes off into nothing. And then you crush her gun, and she has 2 more moves. She is going to take that gun that you've crushed, and she is going to throw it at you, Fuzhou, at your head. So that hits you. She used the pinpoint aim. She was technically using it to shoot at you, which she now can't do. So pick one: mark a condition, take 2 fatigue, or shift your balance away from center.
I'm gonna mark angry, because that's fucking stupid. You threw a gun in my fucking head.
And then she leaps up from the ground and like rushes you, Fuzhou. And she is going to pressure you. She is running up on you, and she is going to grab your gun out of the holster and is like now holding your weapon, which is resistant to earthbending, and is like right in your face. You cannot use the advance and attack in the next round. As you're watching this, you see Li Heng shifts her stance, and you see her kind of like do this sort of airbendery, sort of waterbendery stance where she raises her arm up, and Lieutenant Min is now like acting like she can't breathe. As soon as she does that, she kind of like drops the stance and tosses out a couple jets of water at Lieutenant Min. So Lieutenant Min drops to the ground and immediately gets hit with these jets of water. Lieutenant Min is just like slammed to the ground, falling over. She does not look like she's doing great right now.
Question.
Yes.
From Fuzhou's vantage point right now, can he see if Lieutenant Min had water going into her mouth as this was happening?
You cannot tell. You didn't see anything that looked like water going into her mouth.
Okay, so it is the fucking stomach acid.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is like a bloodbender but worse. A stomach acid bender.
You see, as you're doing this, Adenia is like sort of like looking around, looking for a way out of this. Li Heng looks pretty fucking committed to this.
So Adenia looks like she's looking for a way out. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, if you don't want to try to talk them down from this, which probably wouldn't work, great. Feel free to start again. All right. Adenia is going to defend and maneuver. Lieutenant Min is going to also defend and maneuver. Li Heng is going to advance and attack.
Chong's going to advance and attack.
Fuzhou's going to defend and maneuver.
Defend and maneuver, folks. Do your thing.
All right, and I rolled a 9.
You're hot today. All right, Adenia is going. So you see Adenia like you see a look come over her that looks terrifying. Like she looks fanatical right now, and she has your gun.
Yeah.
So you see her kind of like get this look in her eyes. She's taking the ready condition and immediately burning it to take +1 to her principal. She like steels herself, and you see her like gripping the gun, and then she turns and immediately runs toward the front entrance. She's moving to leave the scene. Any of y'all can burn a fatigue to keep her from doing that if you want to try to like intercept her.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, what do you describe it to me? How are you gonna do that?
She's running, trying to get out of there. I'm going to pull up a wall of earth to block her.
Okay, cool. So she take a fatigue. She is no longer leaving the scene. You're still engaged with her. You see Lieutenant Min just like kind of crouches down, and like she looks bad. Like she is bleeding, she is bruised, she is not looking very spicy, and she is just like she looks like a boxer getting ready to take a punch right now. So she's just kind of settling in and waiting for what happens next.
I'm still engaged with Adenia.
Yes.
And I'm seizing a position. I'm taking my fucking gun back. I'm going to wrestle that gun out of her fucking hands.
You attempt to wrestle the gun out of her hands, but she manages to trip you and throw you off to the side and pulls the gun back and aims it at you. So she still has control of her weapon. Okay, advance and attack. Let's go.
Chong rolled a 9 + 1, so he has a 10. I wanted to use the one Soma taught me, actually, Breath of Wind.
Who are you targeting with this?
Li Heng.
Li Heng is just going to sort of spins around and throws another jet of water at Lieutenant Min, who is kind of fucked right now.
No.
So you see Lieutenant Min gets hit, and she like drops to the ground and is unconscious now. So Lieutenant Min is out of the fight. And then she turns and she's just gonna like do the same. She's gonna throw another jet of water out at you. That is at you, Fuzhou. So you've got a jet of water coming at you.
I'm gonna mark trouble.
I think that is appropriate. Chong, you and Li Heng are kind of like fighting with each other, and as you are doing your Breath of Wind, Li Heng like she sends out a blast of water at one of the nearby trees and knocks off a branch that goes flying at you. So this is smash, and it hits you in the head. This is going to knock you off balance. This is going to make you impaired until you deal with this tree branch that's fallen on you. As this is happening, you do your move, which is inflict stunned on them unless they choose to mark 4 fatigue, and she is take the fatigue on that. All right, so now we're in between combat again. Hanako, You are very close. After the next exchange, you are going to be in the fight.
Let's go.
So you're riding up on Azula, and everyone else is kind of like in this extremely chaotic situation. Lieutenant Min is knocked unconscious.
Can I, hear that there is a fray?
You hear the crack of a branch as it's ripped off of the tree, and the general din of, you heard gunfire before. So something is happening.
Looks like things went south.
As you're all fighting, are Chong and Fuzhou, are you going to do anything between combat, perhaps? So you see, again, Adenia is looking like she wants to get out of there, and now Li Hang is kind of moving. Li Hang moves over towards where she is and stands back to back with her. She doesn't say anything, but you can see her kind of gesturing, with her head at the exit again, and they're both kind of Adenia is standing there holding her gun, and Li Hang is in a sort of a hybrid waterbending, airbending stance. They're getting ready if y'all want to do anything to interact with them. Otherwise, it looks like they're just going to start attacking you again.
Even if Chong had something to say, there's a tree on him.
Okay, combat exchange. Last one before Hanako joins the fight. Adenia is going to advance and attack. Li Hang is going to defend and maneuver.
I have an idea of something I could do with evade and observe, but it would be so much smarter to do defend and maneuver just for survival's sake.
Do the stupid thing.
Okay, no, I'm gonna evade and observe. I'm evading and observing.
Chong, what are you doing?
Chong's going to evade and observe as well.
Conveniently, there is a water feature in this little courtyard, a sort of a little fountain that we didn't mention or notice before because we were so busy fighting. You see Li Hang drop into a waterbending stance, and she draws up some water and wraps it around herself in a protective cloak, a water cloak, if you will. And then Adenia takes her newly stolen gun and aims it directly at your head, Fuzhou. You see her, again, steel herself. She drops down into a firing stance, and she turns and runs back toward the entryway and crouches down. Does anyone engage on a mark of fatigue to keep her from running?
I know you just said that I'm not here yet, but can I mark a fatigue to be in the gate and blocking her exit? Because that sounds cool.
Fucking yes.
Excellent.
Okay, mark of fatigue. As she's running, you are there with Azula. Not quite in the fight yet, but she stops and turns and again aims her gun at Fuzhou. So she is done with her turn. All right, what do we got next? You're both evading and observing,
yes.
Right? All right, both of you clear fatigue.
Oh, that's 7.
7 plus 1's an 8.
I'm going to test balance.
You're going to test balance. You doing that to Adenia?
I am doing that to Adenia.
Okay.
I'm going to go slowly walk towards Adenia, got my hands up, clearly showing I have no gun on me, and I'm going to say, Adenia, whatever you're doing, you don't have to do this. You say you're loyal to your empire, but how can you remain loyal to a leader who abandoned you? Have you ever considered that what you're doing is pointless? Who are you even working for anymore?
You don't know anything about loyalty. You've never been loyal to a thing in your life. Kuvira meant something. To me, to all of us. She still means something.
What did you mean to her?
It doesn't matter what I mean to her. What she represents is bigger than me, bigger than any of us. She is looking extremely not great right now. So she's faltering here. Yeah, she is now off balance. Chong, what are you doing?
I'm just gonna move the tree.
Okay, cool. You toss off the tree, mark of fatigue, and then you're clear of the impaired condition. Hanako, okay, we're in between combat now. Hanako, you have entered this fray. You see a hell of a situation. The woman you just saw that was acting super fucking weird is now actively attacking your friends. Adenia is out for some reason.
I look down at Adenia, who is running towards the gate, and I say, going somewhere?
You see the water cloak fall down from Li Hang, so she's no longer protected by that.
I turn to Baisa and I say, you'd better get somewhere safe, and let them dismount off Azula.
Baisa looks at you and jumps off Azula and says, I may be able to offer some of my expertise in a slightly different capacity.
Do as you see fit, then.
Okay, so as you're doing this, you notice that Adenia looks fucking unhinged. She does not look like she's in control of herself. So what she does, she raises her gun, cocks the hammer. Long live Kuvira. You hear the weapon fire, and you see Li Heng's head snap back, and she falls down dead.
Whoa. Azula, gives a screech and, pats the ground. I'm gonna ride Azula into battle. Let's move on to the next exchange, I think.
Alright, let's fucking do it! Visa's gonna defend and maneuver. Adenia is going to also defend and maneuver.
Advance and attack.
I think I'll advance and attack, and I'd like to mark a fatigue since I'm riding Azula into battle to become favored for an exchange.
Hell yeah!
I think Chong's going to evade and observe.
Chong, what conditions do you have marked currently?
None.
You see this person die in front of you, and you have a flashback to something that happened about a month ago. And you are now afraid. Okay, so Visa, first one they're going to do, just to introduce this move, they have a move called the Ballistic Reckoning. So that basically allows you to ignore any enemy's initial projectile attack as long as you're taking the same defend and maneuver approach. They're analyzing the situation with Adenia and trying to figure out where she might be aiming and who she might try to shoot next. And then they get 2, 3 more. So I don't fucking know. They're gonna. So Bisa jumps, runs off to the side and kind of crouches down behind a tree. They're still observing the fight, but they're now not quite in the fight. And they're protected. And then they're going to, batten down behind this tree and get ready for if someone chooses to attack them. So yeah, they're doing that. And Adenia is going to immediately try to run around Azula and get out the exit. So she's trying to seize a position. Anyone want to spend a fatigue to stop her?
I think it makes perfect sense for me to do so.
Okay, what you doing here?
Can we go ahead and start resolving my advance and attack?
Yeah, go for it.
Since I'm favored, I get to take an additional basic or mastered technique regardless of what happens. I am going to be striking. Adenia is going to start running towards the gate, and I'm just going to lurch forward with Azula. And it's not going to be me, it's going to be Azula who is striking at Adenia with her claws. Let me roll to figure out if I get to do anything else. That's a miss. I'm not currently interested in shifting my balance away from center, so I'll just be doing the strike with Azula.
Who else is doing things? Chong, what are you doing? You're doing evade and observe, right?
I'm doing advance and attack.
You're doing advance and attack. All right, you do your thing.
7.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to do smash. I'm going to build a column of earth around her, trapping her in place.
So she's waist up. Are you binding her hands?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you're doing this, Adenia kind of kicks out, she's struggling to break out of this. The dirt's dry. You didn't quite get it well enough. And she manages to struggle her way out and eventually free herself. Okay. Chong, you're up, I think. Clear fatigue and do your thing.
Chong rolled the 7 + 1, so he has an 8. I imagine now Chong's, I think we'd move commit. So I like this idea that Chong's kind of taking a step back. He's having these flashbacks to the first killing. He's not freaking out, but he's outwardly, he's not screaming and whatnot this time. Instead, I like this idea that he moves a point towards confidence on his balance. He does a little bit of self-talk. It's okay. You're here, part of life. Not bad people, not good people, just people trying their best. You got this.
You're committing yourself. Very, very cool narratively. All right. You know what? I'm going to say clear the condition. Clear the afraid condition. I need, before you go into the next exchange or do whatever talking you want to do, I need all 3 of you to roll focus.
11.
I got a 9.
Okay, cool. Both Chong and Fuzhou. So Chong, as you're recentering yourself, You happen to glance up, and I don't know if I mentioned. I think I mentioned this very early on, but there's an old watchtower in the island that's a little bit to the south of this building that was used by the Kyoshi warriors. It's now, in disrepair, but it's still there. And Chong, as you kind of like gaze up at it as you're recentering yourself, and Fuzhou, your eye happens to drift up there, and you both notice a glint up on the tower of some kind of light reflected in the sun. Between combat exchange.
Chong, you saw that?
Yeah.
Stay out of that tower's line of sight.
Read my mind. Do you think, would it be possible for me to make a roll to see if Chong can blow some dust around and make a cover?
Roll to rely on your skills and training.
Overall a 7, so I just get it.
You managed to kick up some dust. You have managed to obscure yourself and Lieutenant Min, who is still unconscious on the ground. You are not close enough to Adenia and Hanako to obscure them from view.
Sorry, Hanako!
Chong, take the prepared status. Adenia is not talkative right now. So you see her backing up slowly and getting ready to fire again.
I'm going to shout up to Hanako. Hanako, stay out of the line of sight of that tower.
I look up, and Hanako does know that there's another Earth Kingdom person in the area, so I think Hanako can put 2 and 2 together. Hanako says, "Got it," and I know what I'll do in the next exchange.
All right, exchange time.
This time I will be defending and maneuvering because I gotta maneuver.
Bisa is also going to defend and maneuver. Adenia is going to advance and attack.
I'm going to evade and observe.
Yes, I will advance and attack.
Okay, cool. All right, so defend and maneuver, let's resolve that. So Bisa is they're going to use Ballistic Reckoning again. If anyone tries to shoot you, anyone defend and maneuvering, you can ignore the first projectile attack from each opponent. Hanako, if Adenia tries to take a shot at you, you're good.
Let me make a roll to see what I can do before I make my choice. 7 plus 1, that's an 8. Yeah, I'll seize a position to have Azula dart up against the wall of the building between us and the tower. And then I will probably do retaliate because I have so much fatigue.
All right, advance and attack time. As you're moving, Hanako, you see Adenia pull out her gun and very, very precisely aim, and she fires toward you and would have hit you, except that Bisa calls out for you to watch out, and you kind of stop, and the bullet hits the wall right in front of you. Adenia is going to now turn and once again aim at Fuzhou and fire at you. You feel this bullet sort of grazes in your side and hits you right, you're wearing some kind of armor, right?
Probably.
So yeah, it kind of it comes in right under the plate, and you can feel it kind of dig into your side. So you're not doing too bad, but you're not doing great. You're wounded a little bit.
And I'm marking afraid.
Okay, cool. Chong, what are you doing?
Chong didn't roll too well. Chong got a 7. I think Chong's just going to strike. I think Chong, with his confidence, I think he's just going to throw a gust of air as a strike.
Adenia, as you're firing this, you hit her, and she kind of tumbles, rolls, and comes back up, and grits her teeth and raises the gun up again. She is shaking. She is having a very hard time keeping this together. And then Fuzhou, you're evade and observe, right?
Yes.
Clear fatigue and roll.
12.
That's pretty fucking good.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Is there any metal around?
Not right here.
Nothing?
No. There's lots of earth, but...
God damn it, I wanted to use probing metal.
You could use that on the gun
that
Adenia has.
Yes, because it's not solid platinum, it's an Admiral's friend.
It is an Admiral's friend. Okay, so what are you going to do? Describe to me what Fuzhou is trying to do here.
So, Fuzhou knows his Admiral's friend. He knows what parts of it are platinum. He knows the barrel is platinum, so it cannot be crushed. But he does know the mechanism of the gun, and he knows that much of the body of the gun and also the internal mechanism is steel. So he's going to feel around for those impurities.
Okay. You can tell that there's a lot of vulnerabilities in this gun. The frame may be reinforced, but The mechanism itself is mostly steel, the trigger is steel, the bullets are lead, and the casings are brass. So there's a lot of potential vulnerabilities if you wanted to try to get them. Now, they are small, and it would probably take a more than normal amount of effort to target them, but it is possible.
And I get to use another...
You get to use another basic or mastered.
All right. Yeah, and Adenia is currently... Where is she?
She is by the gate, having just fired at you.
The gate's made of metal.
The gate is made of... Sure, I never said. Yeah.
The gate's made of metal.
It's made of metal. Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah. I'm going to impede Adenia, and I'm going to take that metal gate and thwump it over her.
Okay,
I'm gonna
so
use it to fucking hold her down.
You're gonna
I'm gonna trap her. So I'm imagining like a swinging gate.
Yeah.
I'm going to basically bend the metal off its hinges and around her like a cage.
Okay, so it is covering her completely.
Yes, I'm bending a cage of former gate around her.
Okay, cool. So you do that. She is now trapped. As you're doing this, you, Fuzhou, so now we're in between exchanges. You, Fuzhou, everything gets kind of still. Like Adenia can't fire anymore. Everything is pretty quiet. And you hear a little snap in the air, and you see something hit the gate and kind of like puff out. It was targeted at the gate, so it was not aimed at you. It was aimed at Adenia.
Okay. What's up with Adenia? Is she moving?
The bullet did not, as far as you can tell, penetrate the gate.
Okay.
Like, it's heavy enough to stop this thing.
All right.
So yeah, Adenia is still okay. I'm going to say, as you're doing all this, like, the Fire Nation people have come back. Like, they've heard this and have finally arrived here again. So you see Noriko and Kenji running into the fray.
Colonel, against the wall, quickly.
She immediately like throws herself up against the wall and like pushes Kenji back without even stopping to think about it.
How is Adenia looking? Like when it comes to...
She is still looking alive.
Okay, but like, does she look like she can fight much more?
No.
Okay.
She does not look like she is capable of continuing to fight.
All right. I'm going to go up to the Fire Nation people and be like, do not let her escape.
We need to get her inside now before they shoot her.
I was going to go up to Hanako and say, how fast can this go?
Fast enough.
You and me, we need to get whatever's going on up there.
As you wish, officer.
Are you going to like scoop up Adenia and like take her with you, or what are you doing?
Chong comes up and says like, I can make like a cloud, like even bigger, and we can use this cover to get everyone in, and then from there like make a plan to get up there.
Sounds good to me. And Fuzhou is going to basically bend the gate around Adenia in a way that it can be carried along, like can carry her.
Okay. Oh, so you're going to take your gun back, too?
Yes, I'm taking the fucking gun back.
You're moving her out of the line of fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would like to roll to make like a huge dust cloud that covers like the whole area, like to blind the sight of the shooter.
Yeah, no, you can just do it. You're a good airbender. Baisa is like already kind of out of the line of fire. They were behind a tree and have like figured out what's going on and moved back to the wall as well. So y'all are all protected by the building right now. So what is the plan? Are y'all gonna like take Azula and try to go after this person?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Once Adenia is secure, I'm just gonna lock her back in the fridge.
Oh, what are you gonna do with Lieutenant Min? Because she's still like unconscious.
Maybe we could give her to the firebenders to take care of for the time being.
I'm gonna say the cover that you provided, Chong, is sufficient that you can like grab her and drag her out of all that.
While one firebender guards the fridge, they can the other one can try and get a healer.
Yeah, cool. All right, so you're gonna go pursue?
Yeah.
All right, the three of you mount up on Azula and race off in the direction of the watchtower and a confrontation with this mysterious and deadly assailant.
Thank you for listening to Moment of Balance. This episode featured Janiyah Riley as our GM, Chrissy Sylvia as Chong, Dami Carmia as Hanako, and Anna Marcus as Officer Fuzhou and our producer. The music for this episode was written by Anna Marcus. This episode was edited by Dami Carmia and Anna Marcus. If you liked what you heard, you could support us on Patreon at patreon.com/badrep. Huge thanks to our patrons: Janaya Riley, Saturn Nieves, Warren Kelly, Veer, Rowan Parker, Melanie Archer, KK, Marty Balmer, and Paul Kinter. Moment of Balance is produced by Bad Rep Productions and is part of the Bard Rock Network. Check out Bad Rep's other shows at badrep.productions and Bard Rock's other shows at bardrockcafe.com. Bard Rock Network is sponsored by Dragon Master Games at dragonmastergames.com. And remember, save your breath. You'll need it.